Your Honor, this is case number 195 on the calendar in the matter of Hilson versus Randall. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Ms. Hilson, according to the complaints that I have read, you and the defendant were very good friends, and then you had an argument. And it is your claim that after the argument, she vandalized your car by keying and scratching your car. When did this argument take place?
It started Sunday early evening, around 6.
Sunday, what date?
I'm sorry, July 22nd.
What was the argument about?
The argument was about a little boy, Micah, who was here. The defendant's daughter called me and asked me if I would babysit her mother's ex-boyfriend's son.
Which is this little boy?
Yes.
Shh.
And it was no problem. I said yes. When I woke up, the little boy was at my house. No one said, okay, we're here, the little boy is here, we're leaving. I woke up, he was at my house.
You have children?
I have, yes, 2 sons.
How old are
Joshua,
they?
4 years old, and Malik, 11 years old.
Okay. Let me hear, what was the argument about?
Okay. So he stayed at my house and spent the night. No one came to pick him up. No one called to say, we're back, you can bring him. The following day, I was giving them a bath, and Micah had all of these like scratches. It looked like flea bites. I just took it for granted that it was flea bites because the defendant had 11 cats, and it had an infestation of fleas in her home, and she was recently evicted for that.
So you assumed it was flea bites?
I assumed it was flea bites. So when he began to scratch and the bumps came and he scratched till one area started bleeding. So I sat him down. I said, wait a minute, this isn't flea bites. This is something else. So I sat him down. I said, Micah, do you have chicken pox? He says, yes. Did your mother know you had it? He said, yes. I said, did Rhea, who's the defendant, did she know? Did her and Kendra know you had it? He says, yes, they put ointment on me. When he said that, I couldn't believe it. First of all, I was shocked. I was afraid for my children. He had slept in the same bed with my 4-year-old. I called Kaiser Hospital to see what could I do. Could I bring them in? Is there anything they can give me? They said, no, just clean your house. Clean your house, wipe everything down. So I tried to call them to say, come and get him now. Why did you do this? I was really upset. I really don't remember everything that I said, but I was upset.
Did you contact the defendant? Did you make contact with her?
No, I kept getting the recording. So after, I guess, an hour or 2, I finally got them on the phone, and they were very nonchalant.
Who's they?
I got Rhea on the phone.
The defendant?
The defendant on the phone.
Okay.
And they were very nonchalant. She was very nonchalant about it.
Well, tell me what you said to her and what she said to you.
I said, Rhea, why did you let this little boy come over to my house knowing he was infected with chicken pox? She said, well, I didn't know it was chicken pox. She said, Kendra did mention to me the other day, the day before he came to my house. She said, Kendra did bring it to my attention that he had chicken pox, but for some reason, I guess she didn't look into it or whatever. But this little boy is staying at her house in her care.
Okay.
So then I heard his mother's, the little boy's mother's voice in the background. She screamed out and said, it's not chicken pox, it's measles. You know, so I'm livid. I am livid at that point. And I said, just come and get him now. So what I did is I gave him some clean clothes. I put all the clothes that he had on in a bag, tied them up. I isolated him from my children. I put them, you know, in the living room and had them in the bedroom. And I waited and waited and waited. And she knows that I have to be at work early in the morning. They did not come and get him until around 10:30 that night.
What time had you called them and spoken to her?
It was around 6. Around
6 in the evening? Mm-hmm. And they came about 10:30?
About 10:30.
Okay.
And my plan, because I had to pray, I said, okay, I am just going to give her the little boy, give her the bag with his clothes in it, and just shut my door. I have nothing else to say to her. So when she finally came, that's what I did. I walked, when she came, I had him at the door, had the bag in my hand. I handed her the bag and the little boy and said, good night, I have nothing else to say to you. She pushed her way into my house and started cursing, saying, wait, just the whatever. She was just cursing, and I wasn't listening. I just said, just get out of my house. So the phone rang. She said, well, just give me my MF jeans. Just give me my jeans. I said, you're not getting anything.
What jeans is she talking about?
She's talking about a pair of red, blue jeans and a pair of white jeans that she gave me to wear. So when the phone rang and I picked it up, and I said, you're not getting anything, but get out of my house. But when I turned my back, she ran over across my living room, and I bought my son a really nice stereo, my 11-year-old, for Christmas. a really nice stereo, boombox or whatever. She ran over, grabbed that, snatched it out of the wall, broke the antenna, and ran out the door with it. When she ran out the door, I ran behind her, and I said, "Give me my son's radio." And she was trying to get in the car with it, but I got it from her and took it back. I ran back in the house, and I said, "You know what? Wait right here. Let me give you these jeans, and I will have nothing else to do with you." She started ranting and raving in my parking lot saying, "I don't want the MF jeans." She didn't want them at that point. I just shut my door. When I shut my door, she left with Micah, took him home or whatever. The next thing I know, she comes back with her daughter, Kendra, and they're ranting and raving outside. I don't know what they were saying. You're this and you're that, all in front of my neighbors.
What time was this?
It was right after she left. You know, she came about 10:30.
So it was sometime after 10:30.
Yeah, she came back.
Okay.
And I was just like, I'm going to bed. I am not going to deal with them. But before she got to my house, she called me from the cell phone saying, "You're going to pay. And I'm going to make sure you pay. So you take that for what it's worth. I know how to make you pay."
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Beverly Hilson says after an argument with former friend Rhea Randall, her car was vandalized.
Go ahead.
So I called her back. I said, "Don't call my house and threaten me anymore. Because have you forgotten?" And she had forgotten. When she was evicted from her apartment, she asked me to please keep a lot of her coats and clothes, you know, old stuff that she had in my son's. I didn't have any room for my own things. I said, "Have you forgotten that all of your clothes are over here and you're threatening me? I will throw all of this stuff out on the lawn right now and let people have their pick." And I did say that. I was very angry. "You put my 4-year-old son's life in danger, and you won't even acknowledge any of it." They were just nonchalant. She said, and she called me back and said, "If your precious son does happen to get chicken pox or measles, then that means they were supposed to have it." She said that she was going to make me pay. The police came. The police came. When the police came, the police knocked on my door and asked me if I had anything that belonged to her. I gave the police her clothes. In the meantime, they're calling me on the phone, saying all kind of crazy things, or "You're going to pay," and this, that, and the other. No problem, okay? The next morning, I wake up, 6 o'clock in the morning. My child care provider came to pick my son up, and she said, "Beverly, what's all this on your car? What's wrong with your car?" I was like, "Nothing." She said, "Come out here." And I went outside, and, Your Honor, I have a statement. My total car, from front to back, every panel that's visible was scratched.
Let me see. You have pictures?
I don't have any pictures. I have the police report. I have a witness statement. The witness could not be here today, but they sent a statement.
Why can't the witness be here today?
They had prior commitments.
I can't accept
Okay.
that excuse,
That's
but
not
I'm going to take a look at the police report.
Okay, here's the police report, including the witness statement, and also...
Don't give me the witness statement.
Okay.
Which one is the police report?
That one.
Is the witness statement contained in the police report?
Yes, it's in the police report.
Let me take a look. You called in the police report at about 8 o'clock in the morning, that next morning, I see. Is that right? Okay. The police report confirms the scratches all over the car, the entire car, and you have an estimate for the car.
I have an estimate,
Can I
also
see it,
a
please?
statement from the Earl Scheib. It's on the second page. And also, Your Honor, I'd just like to let the court know that a couple of weeks ago, before this court date, she called my job. And she said to me that, "I'm going to be honest with you, my intent was just to flatten your tires." So her intent was just to flatten my tires.
All right. Ms. Randall, let me hear your version of the events, please.
Okay, Your Honor, the version that I'd like to give you of the events is the truth. I raised my right hand. There was no Bible. I wish there had been. Maybe Beverly would have been more forthcoming had there been. Almost all of what she said was not true. The first statement that came out of her mouth was the defendant's ex-boyfriend. His father is a friend of mine who is a comedian, and I am his godmother, and he stays with me regularly. Fine. On the night in question, that Saturday night, his father was opening at a new venue in the Valley. So I asked Beverly, through my daughter, if she could keep Micah so that I could go there. Would she mind keeping Micah? She said, fine. I called her a couple of times on my cell phone because the show was going longer than it had been expected. And I called her about 11 o'clock, and I said, Beverly, it's late. I'm in the Valley. I said, but I'll be there. She said, that's okay. Just leave him here. It's too late to pick him up.
Okay.
So I didn't pick him up. The following morning, I went to church. She didn't go. Yes, there was a question. My eviction has nothing to do with this
My
case.
question to you is, so far what she says is absolutely accurate. You or your daughter asked her to babysit for Micah. Whether she told you the boy could stay because it was too late or not is really not relevant. The boy stayed until the next day,
right,
and she was giving the boys a bath. Now, my question to you is, she says that Micah had chickenpox either recently or at that moment, but he certainly had marks from the chickenpox. And she says that when she called you, you did indicate to her that you knew you knew or had been told at some point that he had chickenpox. Is that correct?
No.
Okay.
Your Honor, what happened was, it was after we came from church, so that was around 2 or 3 in the afternoon. She came to bring him home, and she said, look at these marks on him. And I said, they look like flea bites. And so she said, I said, just give him here. She says, no, that's okay. I'll take him with me because I'm going home and I'm going to fix this dinner and he'll have dinner and then you come pick him up.
So far, that was very nice of her.
Right.
So far, there's no problem.
So far, there's no problem.
Right. Go ahead.
Okay, so I get a call on my cell phone. At the time, I happened to be at Micah's mother's house getting my hair braided. And so she's ranting and raving on the phone about Micah having chicken pox. And I said, what are you talking about? Micah, you know that those are flea bites. She failed to mention the fact that she had a cat that she got from me. She had been complaining. The cat got killed because she allowed her son to throw it over the fence. Wait a minute.
Listen to me. Miss Randall.
No, Judge Judy, I'm trying to tell you that she has the fleas in her house.
Listen to
That's
me.
when she got raving mad.
Listen to me. Doesn't make sense. Because if she came to see you, as you said, after church, and wasn't concerned at all, something happened between after church at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and 6 o'clock at night when she called you. And what happened was that she had a conversation with Micah, and Micah told her that he had chickenpox. Now, he may have been wrong, but something happened. She did not become psychotic between 2 o'clock in the afternoon and 6 o'clock at night, Miss Randall, because she was doing you a favor. She said, bring him over. According to you, she said, don't even bother to come back now. It's too late. Stay, have a good time. I'll pick him up in the morning. Then you see her the next day after church, and still everything is fine. And you say, leave him here. And she said, no, I'll take him home and have dinner because I'm going to make dinner. So far, she's being a really good sport. Does that sound right to you?
Sounds right to me.
And then if I were to believe your version of the events, she took some kind of mind-altering drug between 2 and 6 o'clock in the afternoon and became psychotic. And I'm telling you, that doesn't fit with my common sense barometer. So Micah may have said to her, in response to a question, she may have said to him, do you have chicken pox? And he may have said yes. Maybe he didn't. He may not have told her the accurate story, but she legitimately felt at that point that you and your daughter placed her children at risk of infection with a child who was infected with chickenpox. As a parent, you can understand that if that's what she believed. So what I want to know is, what was all the hoopla about? If she spoke to her at 6 o'clock, how come you didn't get there until 10 o'clock at night?
First of all, Your Honor, his mother was braiding my hair. When she heard me on the phone speaking to Beverly and heard Micah's name, she asked me what's going on. I told her Beverly thought Micah had chickenpox. She said in the background, Micah already had chickenpox. He doesn't have chickenpox. Okay?
She's lying.
And she also said Beverly later told me that her children had already had chickenpox, and so that wasn't the issue. Her issue was that I didn't come right away. I didn't come right away, Your Honor, because I wasn't concerned, because I knew that he didn't have chickenpox.
But you didn't come right away.
I didn't come right away because I wasn't at home.
All right. Let's go a little bit further. There came a time when you came back to the house after you had gotten Micah. Micah was now out of her home, and the police were called. Did you contact the police?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Why did you contact
Your
the police?
Honor, when I picked Micah up, I got home, and I got a phone call. You better come get your MFSH. I've thrown it on the front lawn, and you better come before them come and get your stuff. So I immediately, I just jumped up. I went over to the house. I pull up.
Who did you go? Who did you go with?
I went with my daughter. My daughter came with me.
Okay, so you went over there with your daughter.
Yes. And so I pulled up, and there's a house.
Where's Micah?
He was at home
With
with my
whom?
father. Okay. I pull up into she has a long driveway. There's a house in front, and then her house is in the back. So I pull up into the driveway. There are no clothes on the lawn. I knocked on the door, and I said, Beverly, give me my stuff, please. Because at this point, she had gone so...
Okay, so she didn't give you your stuff. I wanted to... So the police... You left the house and called the police?
No, I didn't. I sat in the driveway because when I got to the door, she said, I'm not giving you... She said, you know, I'm not... And she slammed the door. So, and then she opened it again. And so I sat there and
You went inside and got the radio at some point?
No, that was earlier. I didn't get the radio and bring it out of her house at all because she got it before I got out of her house. Okay. And I didn't break anything on it.
Just a second. Why did you grab the radio?
Because, Your Honor, Beverly is the kind of person...
No, I don't want to hear what kind of person she is. I want you to tell me why you grabbed the stereo out of her wall socket and started to walk out with it.
Because she owed me money. She told me when she came earlier that day, when she brought Micah, I'll give it to you when you come and pick Micah up. When I got to her house, she just pretty much nonchalantly said, look, I don't have your money. And I'm not giving it to you. Don't worry about whatever. You'll get it when you get it. I was upset at her, and I did pick the radio up. And I was going to walk out of the door with it and told her, well, I'll give you your radio back when you give me the $35. $35 for some jeans. And she snatched the radio back from me. And
okay, so now we got the radio. Now we got the radio. When did you call the police? When you were sitting outside?
Right. I was
sitting outside, the police arrive. Police arrive, and you get your clothes.
Yes.
All right. And then you left?
Yes.
With your daughter?
Yes.
Okay. So you had nothing to do with scratching up her whole car? All right. Opportunity, motive, and inclination. Those are the things that I have to deal with.
Okay, Your Honor.
I'm speaking. Clearly, you were very angry that day. And you were angry enough to call the police involving your best friend. You were angry enough to grab a radio from out of her house. And who else would have the opportunity, the inclination, and the motivation to do it but either you or your daughter, because you were angry. You were angry because she said, I'm not giving you back the $35, which is really something that she probably said out of anger because she was put out by the fact that she felt as if you and your daughter had placed her children in jeopardy, even if it was not a real threat, even if he did not have chickenpox. But clearly the child told her that he had. So based upon that, put your hand down. You don't seem to be losing yet, right? The estimate for repainting this car is $580, and I'm awarding that to the plaintiff. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out. Yeah, this is case.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Block versus Ulrich. Step forward, please.
Loan officer Chris Block and his wife Deanna are suing their neighbor, cleaning company vice president Steve Ulrich, for vet bills. The Blocks claim the son of Steve's girlfriend, 12-year-old Dustin Miller, threw their kitten down a flight of stairs.
Mr. and Mrs. Block, who's going to speak for you?
I will.
Okay. Neither one of you were home at the time of this incident with the kitten?
No.
Okay. Who was home?
Both kids, I believe, right? No, my son.
Very good. So why don't you have a seat, the two of you? Step up. Mr. Ulrich, this is not your son. You are his guardian, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
You weren't there on the 3rd of October, is that right?
Yes.
You were not there?
I was not there.
Why don't you have a seat? Step up here, young man. What's your first name?
Devin.
Devin?
Yeah.
And yours?
Dustin.
All right, this is the complaint. On behalf of Mr. and Mrs. Block, they had a kitten, and they claim that Dustin purposely injured their kitten, causing the kitten's leg to break, and the kitten had to have leg reset. There were substantial medical bills, and they want the defendant to be responsible for those medical bills, you or his mother. The defendant says that Dustin was merely defending himself from this kitten. So let's see what happened. Devin?
Yes.
I want you to tell me what happened on October 3rd with your kitten. How old, first of all, tell me how old the kitten is.
When it happened?
Yes.
About 4 months.
And Dustin was a friend of yours?
Yeah.
Did he play over at your house often?
Yes.
Okay. Did Dustin like the kitten?
Yeah.
So tell me what happened that day.
Well, we were playing video games, and he said he's going to go to the bathroom. And then he comes back and he says that I didn't really go to the bathroom. I went to go put the kitten. Well, later that night, she was limping and crying, and you'd touch her leg, she would cry. And we asked him when he went to go play with the cat if he did something, but he said that she was biting him and that he just got angry and annoyed and he tossed her off.
I was playing with the kitten when it bit me, and then
Well, tell me exactly where you were when you were playing with the kitten and it bit you.
I was on the stairs.
What do you mean on the stairs?
Like, the kitten was on the stairs, so I was like sitting and petting it.
And the kitten bit you?
Yes.
And what happened after the kitten bit you?
Like, I pulled my hand back to get it off, and it fell off the stairs.
How did it fall off the stairs?
The stairs is not that wide, so when I was sitting down, I was kind of near the edge of this where the stairwell would be.
Isn't there a railing?
No.
Is there a railing?
No, Your Honor, we removed it after we moved in. I have some pictures.
I'd like to see it.
And there are some pictures of after Penrose removed.
Oh, I see. So there is no railing. Who else was there when he confessed?
My mom and my sister.
Well, I'd like to hear from you. Yes. Tell me about the discussion that you had with Dustin that evening.
Well, at first when we'd asked, because I saw the cat was limping and nobody would say anything, so I kept asking the kids over and over again what had happened. Dustin was kind of nervous, and Devin told me that he had left the room, and then it told me about him playing with the cat. So I said, Dustin, what happened? Just tell us what happened. And then he said that when he was playing with her, that she started to bite him. So at first he said he went like this and just threw her down the stairs. Then I said, well, there had to have been more than that. So I kept asking him, and then he said, well, he went like this over the edge. And he said, so then he threw her that way.
So he didn't say he picked her up and threw her over the side.
No, but...
Okay. I just want to know what he said.
Okay.
You're 12?
Yeah.
And you're 12?
Yeah.
Well, they're certainly old enough to be home alone by themselves. So I can't fault you for not being there to supervise, but I also am not going to make an order that his parents be responsible for the medical bills for your cat. I mean, I don't think that he purposely did anything to hurt your cat. The cat nips because it's a kitten. But again, he's 12 years old. He doesn't have the intellect, you know, of somebody who's an adult. And he wanted to get the cat off. So let's say he took his hand and went like that, and the cat went over on the side as a reflex. There's nothing more than a reflex to get the cat off. You still think that he's responsible to pay for the vet bills for the cat?
Only because the vet told us there was no way the cat could have broken its leg in 5 places just from tossing off the side. She had to have been pretty much slammed to the ground to have broken it the way it did.
Did you ever have any indication that this young man would do anything to hurt an animal?
Well, the fact that he knew she was hurt and went back to play video games like nothing had happened.
Well, that's not a good thing, right? Tell me why you did that.
Well, first of all, I didn't know the cat was hurt.
Just a second. After the cat goes over, whether you went like this to get the cat off you because the cat was biting you, or whether you pushed the cat down the stairs to get the cat off of you, you had to have sat there for a second and watched what happened when the cat got up, didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you see the cat limping?
No.
Well, I don't necessarily believe that, Dustin. When you came back inside, did you tell Devin what had happened with the cat?
No.
Why not?
Because I didn't really know, I didn't really think it was like a huge deal, because when the cat fell, it wasn't moving afterwards when I went up, back upstairs.
It wasn't moving?
No, but...
Well, weren't you worried if it wasn't moving? Dustin.
It was standing.
Do you have an animal at home? You have a dog or a cat?
Bird.
What if your bird was bothering somebody by chirping, and the person had a headache, and it went over and it rattled the cage really hard, and the bird fell to the ground and broke a leg? Would you be angry?
Yes.
Would you think that the person ought to tell you that that's what happened?
Yes.
Do you think that you would have any responsibility, or that they would have any responsibility?
Like, they would have some responsibility, but we would also have some, because it was our bird that would got on the person's nerves.
The birds do what birds do. Birds sing. Kittens nip. And if you don't like it when the kitten is nipping you, then you don't play with the kitten. But Mrs. Block, I don't think that he did this on purpose. And I don't think that his parents had any indication that he had a predisposition to cruelty to animals, which in my judgment would make them responsible. If you have children in your house and you choose to leave 12-year-olds in your house unsupervised, you're pretty much responsible for what goes on there. So I'm sorry, but your case is dismissed.
Your Honor, this is case number 286 on the calendar in the matter of Hilton versus McElroy. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have seats, please.
Miss Hilton, the defendant is a friend of your current boyfriend's, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And it is your claim that for some bizarre reason, she vandalized your car. You were not present when that happened, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And yet you believe that she did it. The defendant says she had no reason to vandalize your car and she didn't do it. Boyfriend?
Yes, ma'am.
Who's he?
He's a friend of her boyfriend's.
Who saw her vandalize your car?
Joseph.
Joseph, step up, please. Joseph, what's your last name?
Guillory.
Mr. Guillory, I want you to tell me, start from the beginning, sir, and tell me what you know about this evening, which is the 25th of July, 2002.
Okay. Me and Andrea and my friend Dre and another girl named Bridget, we went to the club called the Hurricane Hut. We were all having a good time. We had a few drinks. And after the club, we came back to my stepmom's house. We were playing a sex game.
A what?
A sex game.
Sex game.
Right. It's called the authorization game. And Andre asked me, can he mess with Andrea?
Andre asked you
Right.
if he could mess with this lady.
Right.
Why would he ask your permission?
Because we was playing an authorization game.
Oh, that's
We had to
part of the
ask for
game.
it. It's part of the game.
Go ahead.
And I said, yeah. And I had to ask her, can I mess with her friend, Bridget? And so they were messing around, and we were messing around. She looked over and saw me. Well, she saw Bridget sliding up and down on me and thought we were having sex, but we wasn't. And she got mad, and she said she was fisting to go. And I said, well, I'm fisting to go, too. She said, well, where are you going to spend the night tonight? I said, I'm going home to Dolly.
To this lady?
Right. She got mad and said, oh, you going home to that? And so they walked out.
Who walked out?
Andrea and Bridget. So I proceeded to walk out too, but I was like about 3 or 4 minutes behind them. So I just happened to look out the window and I seen her keying up the car.
Keying whose car?
Dolly's car.
You mean you had driven her car that evening? You didn't tell me
No, her
about
car was
it.
parked in the parking lot. And we took my homeboy's car, but when we came back, yeah, Dolly's car was still there.
So you drove her car over to this apartment complex
Right.
where you proceeded to go out for the
Get another
evening
car.
drinking
Yeah.
in another car and then come back to your stepmom's house,
Right.
have sex with a whole bunch of other people, and then you were going to go back to her house with her car. Was that your plan?
Right.
And when you came out, you saw her car in the parking lot, and you saw her doing what?
She was keying the car and her friend Bridget was right behind her.
What do you mean you saw her keying the car?
Well, I couldn't see what she had in her hand, but she was just going down the car with,
No, it wasn't.
Okay, so what did you do next?
So I proceeded to go outside, but by the time I got all the way to the car, she already had then walked away and hit me on the cell phone, called me on the cell phone. And she said,
called you on the cell phone?
Right. She said, I don't know who black car this is, but I just did up. And I said, why did you do that? And I told her, don't call me no more. She kept calling my phone saying, don't tell her, don't tell her. I said, why not? And she said, well, tell her somebody else did it.
Or else I'm going to tell Dolly what you were doing this evening.
I didn't even know her. Sorry.
So she kept begging me to tell us that somebody else did it, but I wouldn't do it.
Now I'll hear you.
That night that we went out, it was on the 24th. It was the night before the 25th. We all met at his house. We were all hanging out in the bedroom, watching TV and stuff like that. There was no sex game going on. His friend came on to me, and I said no. And I seen him messing with my friend, and she said she felt uncomfortable. She walked away and told me, and I said, okay, we're leaving. And he said, why are you leaving? And I was like, because you're putting our relationship I didn't like where he was putting the relationship.
What relationship?
We weren't together, but we had a relationship. We were seeing each other.
How were you seeing each other? Were you intimate
He'd come and
with
visit
each
me
other?
when I lived in Austin. He came and spent the night at my house. It was an intimate relationship.
Was it intimate in the month of July of 2002?
Yes, it was. It has been for about 3 years.
Okay,
Up
go
until
ahead.
that day. I've only met this girl one time, Dolly. I've only seen her car, I think, in passing, and I couldn't tell you what kind of car it was. The night that we came back, there was no big fight. There was no misunderstanding, no argument. I just told him I didn't like where he was putting our relationship, and I didn't want to talk to him anymore. So me and my friend Bridget, we left. We got in her car and we left. He called me asking me to come back.
and we had some words on the phone, and then I got to my house, and that's when she called me. He went and told her that I keyed her car, and she called me telling me all kinds of stuff, that I need to watch myself, that she's going to beat my butt or whatever. I never
And what does he have to do with all this?
Because he's his friend. JoJo went and told him one day that he didn't know who keyed his car.
Step up. Tell me your name.
Q. Logan.
Mr. Logan, tell me what you know about this. You clearly weren't there that evening, but did you at some point, she says, have a conversation with Mr. Guillory?
Yes, ma'am. The day after it happened, and he said that he didn't see it. He said he saw her standing near his car. He was in the window. He was inside the house.
Yes.
In the window. He looked out the window.
So what did he say to you?
He said he seen her standing near the car, but since he was going to try to sue her, he was going to tell the court that he seen her key the car, which in essence, if you seen someone keying your car, wouldn't you try to go out there and stop them?
I was going outside.
It takes more than 2 or 3 minutes to key the word in somebody's paint job.
So who do you think did that?
I have no idea who did it, but JoJo takes her car at all times of the night. She has no say-so where she can drive her own car. He drops her off at work.
You mean Dolly?
Yes. She pays all the bills. The only thing, the apartment is in his name. He goes where he wants, when he wants. He quit his job because he did not want to pay the amount that they wanted him to pay in child support. So he quit and went to his old job.
What child support? Who does he have a child with?
He has a child with another girl, not Dolly. He quit his job.
Not Dolly, not this lady?
No.
How old is the child?
Maybe about 2 years old.
So he had a relationship with somebody else while he was having a relationship with you. Is there at least one other that you know about?
Mm-hmm.
So?
And I...
So?
So...
What?
But see, I knew about it, and I'm not a jealous person. I met that girl that was pregnant by him, and I took her over there to meet him. I never overreacted about anything like that. We had an open relationship, so I don't understand why he would say that I would key his car.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
That's what I would say to him. But for your antics, my car would be okay. I'm 100% sure of that.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Dolly Hilton says her boyfriend's ex, Andrea McElroy, keyed her car. Dolly's boyfriend, Joseph, says Andrea was angry over a sexual game they played with a group of friends.
What do you do for a living, sir?
I'm a cook.
Are you working now?
Yes, I am. I was working 2 jobs.
Are you? You pay child support?
Yes, I do.
But he quit his job making $40,000 a year to go back to working as a cook at KFC.
No, that's not why I quit my job.
Yes, it is. You told me it was.
He told all of us it was.
What's your current child support order?
160, and I gave her 20 more
160 a what?
a month.
How much do you earn at your job, working 2 jobs, sir?
No, I was working 2 jobs. I let one go on I was working on the water offshore, and I was working at KFC too, both of them.
How much do you make now?
How much do I make now? About $1,300 a month.
What kind of work do you do, Miss Hilton?
I drive a school bus.
You have children?
Yes, ma'am.
How many children do you
I
have?
have 2.
Who pays the rent in your house?
I pay rent, and he also helps pay bills.
You know what he's going to do? He's going to pay for your car. You want to know why? Because I'm not 100% sure she did it, but I'm 100% sure of this, that but for his actions, you wouldn't have any trouble with your car. I'm 100% sure of that.
Your Honor, she...
No, listen to me. I'm 100% sure of that.
No.
I know that I'm not convinced by the required quantum of proof that I need to be convinced by that she keyed your car. I am, however, 100% convinced that but for him, according to his own testimony, your car would not have been placed at risk. Because let's see what he did. He took your car to go out with a bunch of other friends to a club without you. Now, that may be okay. Let's say that's okay. That you said, listen, you want to go out for an evening, go out for an evening. Mm-hmm. I can't believe that you would say go out for an evening with an old girlfriend or a girlfriend who we had been intimate with for 3 years. Can't believe that he actually told you that. But maybe he did. Maybe I'm that old-fashioned. But let's say he didn't tell you. And then from the club, he went back to somebody's house where, according to him, they decided to have a party and play sex games. That's according to him. She said it didn't happen. But let's say I believe him. And it all got very unseemly. And then she got annoyed and she went outside. And maybe she keyed your car, and maybe it was the mother of some other one of his children who keyed your car. Maybe it was somebody else. But one thing I know for sure, but for his total lack of morality, your car would not have been damaged. So he's going to pay for it. See, he's going to pay for it. And I suggest that you make up your mind. Either he pays for your car and you say to, because that's what I would say to him, but for your antics, my car would be okay. So either get your behind out of here, away from my 2 children, because you are nothing but a lowlife, and I don't want you, Mr. Lowlife, near my children, or fix my car and straighten up. You got it? The case is dismissed. Period. End of discussion. Goodbye.
She's got nude pictures of herself laying all over Houston.
If he wouldn't have come in here and tried to lie, I'm sure things could have been worked out.
She was trying to act like a good girl. We got pictures right here showing she was a bad girl, butt naked and stuff.
And now the next case.
All parties are Fajardo versus Bogert. Step forward, please.
22-year-old student Sonia Fajardo is suing her ex-girlfriend, 28-year-old student Christina Bogert, for unpaid loans to get back on her feet. Christina says they were in love and the money was never a loan.
Ms. Fajardo, it is your claim that the defendant owes you some money as a result of a loan. And this loan was made to the defendant while you were dating. Tell me about the loan.
Well, when we first started dating, I was in Orlando, and I moved down to Miami to start school. And when we were dating, it was long-term, and I wanted her to move down with me, and she also wanted to live down there with me as well. She did have lots of bills that, after September 11th, as a server, you know, you don't make that much money when people don't go out to eat.
You were working in a restaurant?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. So the plan was that she would move in with me. She was living in my dorm room. She didn't have to pay for rent, utilities, anything like that. No food, because we had the cafeteria. I mean, no bills, and she could save the money, pay me back, and pay the rest of her bills. And when she moved down, everything was fine until people found out on campus. And obviously, that's against the rules, so it was either she move out or
You mean against
both.
the rules for her to live in the dorm room
Yes.
and eat in the cafeteria as a non-student?
Yes.
So, I mean, that's logical. People pay a lot of money for that.
Yeah, and since we were sort of desperate, my friend was renting a room, and when she moved down there, she was still not making enough. So she was
To what?
changing jobs.
She wasn't making enough to pay for what? She didn't have any expenses.
Well, she has a car payment and credit cards that she had to pay, and she wasn't able to pay it, and she needed to borrow some more money so that she could live in my friend's apartment. But I only had $200 at the time, so I lent her $200 and then the rest later. But throughout this whole time, she always would say, you know, I'm going to put that money back in your account.
You didn't talk in terms of repayment. It's later on that she said, I want to repay you.
Yes.
So the original money that you laid out for her was not a loan. It was, come down here because we can be together. That's what you're telling me. It was she who then said at some point, as soon as I get on my feet, I'll put this money back in your account. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Well, that's not a loan. Because she says there was never a loan.
But she also asked me, though. I mean, it wasn't just an offer. She asked me, and I said, okay.
You said okay?
To lend her the money.
Even if you said you'll pay me back when you can. That's a possibility, right?
Possible, yes.
Right? If you have that kind of need to be with each other, then you don't start talking about these financial arrangements when you're going to start paying me back on the 1st of September, $50, and every 15th and the 1st of the month thereafter. You didn't have that conversation. That's what a loan is. At least if you make a loan and this is what you owe. This is how you're going to pay it back. This is when you're going to pay it back. That's a contract. It's not a contract, Ms. Fajardo, when you say, here's the money, pay me back when you can.
It wasn't when you can. It was when she moved down, she was supposed to pay me back, and she never paid me back. That was a plan for her to pay me back.
Okay. Now, was that your plan?
No, as far as I'm concerned, it wasn't a
Not
loan
as far
at
as
all.
you're concerned.
Oh.
Was that your plan, is what I asked you, Ms. Bogart? To pay her back. She's the student. You're the worker.
I paid for everyday incidentals. I mean, I was making cash daily as a server. So we'd go out to eat, we'd go out entertainment at night and everything like that, and I paid for that. When it came to paying for bills that needed, you know, signing off on a check, I didn't have a checking account. So that's where she came in, and she made out the actual checks. I, on the other hand, paid for, you know, daily expenses. It was a mutual agreement. We were in a relationship. She paid for things, I paid for things. It was never
How
loan.
long did you stay in her dorm room?
I'm not sure, a couple months? I'm not exactly sure.
About a month and a half.
And how many times did you take her out to dinner?
Enough. More than 10 times, less than 100.
We went out to dinner once, and I put it on my credit card to actual dinner. The rest was going to maybe Taco Bell or Burger King.
That's still dinner.
What money did you advance her, Ms. Fajardo?
I advanced her $500.
For what?
Her car payment.
$500. What else?
There was a speeding ticket that she had gotten for $147.
Go ahead, what else?
With the citation.
What else?
And then rent.
What rent?
For the
$200?
$200 and then $250.
She also lived in that apartment with me.
I lived in my dorm room. I never gave up my dorm room.
I don't care whether you gave up the dorm, but did you ever sleep in another apartment that she was living in?
Yes.
Forget it.
But I was not living there. I lived on campus the whole time.
All of this was gifts to you by someone who was sort of smitten, and there was never an agreement or an understanding that when you could, you would start paying her back. That's what you want me to
Well, it was
believe.
a relationship. I mean, we did things for each other. I mean, it wasn't like a business.
So far, I haven't heard anything that you did for her. Only that she did for you, financially. I'm talking about only financially.
Well, just because she has the documentation for it, because she had the checking account. I, on the other hand, because I was a server, only had cash. I don't have any...
That's a very, very smart thing. A server should have a bank account. She has the documentation because she provided the money. And it is my belief that you are responsible to repay her this money, even though she did it in sort of a sloppy way. I believe it was the intention of both parties at the time that she advanced this money for you to begin to pay it back at some point. You seem to think you don't have that obligation. I believe you do. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,200.
This is case number 298 on the calendar in the matter of Sullivan versus Knighton. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Tell me your name.
Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy? Did you come up here? You come up here.
Can you make it up here? Oh, there you go. All right.
Hi.
Hi.
You have a big, strong voice. How old are you, Jimmy?
6 years old.
I have a couple of questions for you. You think you can think real hard so you can answer these questions? I understand that you got shot in the head with a BB. Can you tell me what happened?
I was in my yard.
You were in your yard?
And Chase had a BB gun shooting at a piece of foam.
Who had a BB gun? Chase?
Chase.
Is that little boy over there, Chase? Is he your friend?
Yes, he was, but when he shot me with the BB gun, well, I had to go to the doctor, and when I got back home, Mom said I could never play with him again. And I stayed in the house.
It was an accident, though, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. He didn't mean to hurt you, did he? He did?
Yeah, he said, I'm going to shoot you. Now I'm going to really shoot you.
We have to talk to him about that, okay? Did you shake hands? Maybe we will later. I'm going to have to talk with him right now, okay? Okay, why don't you go step down?
Watch your step, partner.
Cute.
All right. See.
Chase, come on up here.
Oh.
Good. Hi.
Hi.
Chase, Jimmy is a friend of yours? Or he was?
He goes to my school.
And you're a nice boy? And he's a nice boy? Where'd you get this BB gun from?
From behind my papa's door.
That where your papa leaves it?
Now he leaves it in his closet.
And is the closet locked now? But he used to leave it just behind the door? So it's your grandpa's gun? Or your daddy's?
It's my dad's or my grandpa's.
But it used to be just behind the door. In whose room?
My papa's.
What were you doing with the BB gun when Jimmy got shot?
Shooting beer bottles with my next door neighbor.
And how old is your next door neighbor?
14.
Who was with you at home that day, Chase?
My grandma.
Just your grandma?
And my sister and brother.
And where was your daddy?
At work.
And your papa?
He was at work.
Did you ask permission to take the BB gun out? Are you supposed to ask permission? So you didn't do the right thing, right? You didn't mean to hurt Jimmy, did you? I didn't think so. What happened when your daddy found out that you had shot Jimmy with the BB gun? Did he tell you not to do that anymore?
But
Would you like to sort of shake hands with Jimmy and maybe you could try to be friends again? What about you? Not ready to do that yet? Okay. Okay, Chase, why don't you go sit down next to your pie? So that's what this case is about.
Right.
This case is about one little boy who got shot in the head with a BB gun, and I gather from the complaint that the doctors have decided to leave the BB in his head rather than do some surgery. And Miss Sullivan, what you want is you want the defendant to pay for all the medical bills that you have and some money for pain and suffering.
Correct.
I'm ready for your defense, sir.
Well, first of all, I think that this could have been stopped if she would have told me, first of all, that he had the BB gun, because when I went over there to talk to him, she told me, she said she seen Chase running around with a BB gun, waving it around. So I was just wondering, you know, when she told me that, why didn't she come to me and tell me that in the first place? Because
You were working.
I was not at work.
That's what he said.
I know, but he's mistaken.
So you were home?
I was at home. I was in the living room.
Oh, that's even worse. So you were at home.
Yes, ma'am.
In a situation where you were totally responsible for your sons having access to an instrument that could cause serious physical injury to somebody else that was not secured. You are 100% responsible for Jimmy's medical bills, out-of-pocket expenses. It was your responsibility. Is this your father?
Yes, ma'am.
Your father's responsibility to ensure that that BB gun was secured so that your 6-year-old son could take it and hurt anybody else or himself. You know that that's true. Now, I don't know whether Miss Sullivan could tell from this BB gun whether or not it was a toy or capable of hurting anybody, or whether it was loaded or not loaded. Who knows that? But you certainly knew that it was capable of causing injury, and your father certainly knew that, and both of you understood that it was not the right place to keep it, behind some door, and it's now secured in a place where he can't get it, right? Yes. So it's secured now. It was a little too late. So let me see the bills. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have an X-ray that indicates where this BB is?
I do.
Have you ever
pull
seen
one
that,
out?
Mr. Knight?
No, ma'am.
I'd like to take a look at it.
It's still in his head.
Is this the first time that your son has taken out that BB gun?
I don't think so.
How many times did you play with this BB gun?
One.
One time before this?
I played with it 2 times over at the next door neighbors. We're shooting beer bottles.
On a different day or the same day?
Different day.
So you had that BB gun out twice. And where was your daddy the first time you had it out? Did anybody know you had it out the first time?
I think it was at home, or it was at home.
Did your daddy know you had the gun out the first time you had it out, shooting beer bottles?
No.
How big is this gun?
About from here to here.
That's pretty big. Is it heavy?
My dad's is this long.
That's pretty heavy for you to carry, isn't it?
No, it was mine. It was my BB gun.
What does that mean?
His mom bought him the BB gun.
So this is his BB gun. It's not yours or your father's.
That's right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He's going to give me a knife when I get 15.
If you're smart, you'll ask him to get you a microscope or a doctor's kit so that you can hope to be something that's really good and not a thug with a knife.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Gail Sullivan says her 6-year-old son, Jimmy Johnson, was shot in the head with a BB gun. Gail says the shooter was her neighbor's son, 6-year-old Chase Knighton.
Where is his mother?
His mother is off somewhere.
Off?
She abandoned us.
Okay. When did she buy this BB gun?
Christmas.
She bought it for him. I didn't want him to have it. And he insisted. He cried about it because I know I never wanted him to have it in the first place. I knew he was too young. Should never have one. But
right. Your dad has to take that BB gun and put it away for a very long time.
Yeah.
so that you can't even touch it. Do you understand? Maybe when you're 15 or 16 years old, your daddy will be able to take it out. And when you're responsible enough to use it right, he'll be able to give it to you. But it's not the right thing for you to even hold it, because you're not big enough yet to do that. Do you understand?
Yeah, he's going to give me a knife when I get 15.
A knife? I want to tell you what your papi's going to get you when you're 15. He's going to get you a microscope. If you're smart, you'll ask him to get you a microscope or a doctor's kit, you know, so that you can aspire to be something, so that you can hope to be something that's really good, you know, like a doctor or a lawyer, and not a thug with a knife. That's not good. Do you understand? Not good. Certain things are good, certain things are not. What does your daddy do for a living? No. What do you do for a living, sir?
I'm a warehouse manager.
He works in a warehouse, and he's a manager. He manages a lot of other people and tells them where things go. He has a very important job. You think that he handles that job because he has a big knife? And you know what kind of a job your papi used to have?
He's told me he used to be a marshal.
A marshal? Is that right?
I'm a deputy marshal with Alabama Supreme Court.
See, so he has a job that's related to the law. Right? He's a deputy marshal in the court system. It's a very important job. And he doesn't need a knife for that job. You've got to teach him the right thing. And if he wants the wrong thing, you have to sort of reorient him.
Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Can I say something? The knife he's talking about is one of those little knives with the fingernail file in it and the toothpick and everything.
By the time he gets to be 15, he's not going to want that knife.
Well, that'd be the only one he get.
Good. All right. Well, there's no question that you folks are responsible for these medical bills. There's no question with regard to that. I think that they were absolutely 100% negligent allowing this weapon to be in a position where he could get his hands on it. I have a feeling that these two gentlemen have a very full plate. I also think, Jimmy, that he's probably a very nice little boy. He did a bad thing, and you should really probably give him another chance. I think that that would be a nice thing to do. I really do. Because you're supposed to forgive somebody if they're really sorry. You are sorry for what happened, aren't you? He really is sorry. He would really like to be your friend. Think you're willing to give him another chance? I sort of like that idea. Come on.
Okay.
Give him one shake. Go ahead. That's good. See, that didn't hurt. Good. All right, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,654, which are the actual damages, another $1,000 punitive damages, $2,654. Thank you, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Chase knew that he wasn't supposed to take that gun out of the house. I don't know why he took it out.
Jimmy said he told him he was going to shoot him with a gun, and I feel like that this child shouldn't have had the gun.
Keep the gun away from small children and keep it locked up.
That could have been a pistol. My son could be dead.
Your Honor, case number 284 on the calendar in the matter of Samuels versus Jordan.
Thanks, Berg.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have seats, please.
Miss Samuels, is this your current boyfriend?
Yes.
And Ms. Jordan, this is your current boyfriend?
Yes.
According to your complaint, the defendant used to date your boyfriend.
That is correct.
And because she was angry with you, or whatever, for dating this gentleman, she vandalized your car.
Yeah.
She says she didn't do it, and she is counterclaiming because she says that you harass her. Right? Could you step up for a moment? I just want to see what everybody's fighting over. Could you pick your pants up? What's your name?
Louis Castillo.
How old are you, Louis?
20.
You live at home?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Knew you were going to get it right, Louis, eventually. How long did you date Miss Jordan?
Probably for like 3 years.
Whose idea was it to break off the relationship, yours or hers?
Both of ours.
How long have you been dating Miss Samuels? She could pick up her pants, too. I don't have to look at her belly.
Probably for like 6 months.
Have you had any contact with Miss Jordan?
No.
Do you know of any reason why she didn't like Miss Samuels?
I wouldn't know.
Don't know? Have no clue. A man of few words. Have a seat. All right, so tell me about this vandalism, Miss Samuels. When did it happen?
6/25/02.
And where did it occur?
Driscoll and Paseo Padre.
Who lives there?
My friend Lisa.
So tell me what happened.
I was over at Lisa's visiting her, and she received a phone call from Barbara. She was going to come over. Well, Lisa told her no, and Barbara couldn't figure out exactly why she didn't want her to come over. So Barbara, being across the street at the payphone at the gas station.
How do you know that?
It says on Lisa's caller ID, payphone, and Lisa knows the payphone across the street.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, she noticed my car being across the street.
How do you know she noticed your car?
Because she knows my car. How? I don't know.
Okay, just tell me, don't tell me what she noticed, what she saw. Just you tell me what you saw and what you heard. Okay, so she called Lisa's house. Is that right?
Yeah.
And Lisa told you not to come over.
Yeah, that time.
I mean, I'm reading your answer because your answer seems to verify that. And you went over anyway.
She called me earlier in the day and told me to come over. I said, I got to finish getting ready. And then I called her from the payphone and said I was there. She said, don't come over. And I said, okay. And then he got on the phone.
Louis?
Yes. And he said, I'm going to meet you across the street. I said, why do I need to meet you for? And then they hung up on me. So I went to her apartment and I knocked on the door.
You went to Lisa's apartment?
Yes, and I knocked on the door.
So you knew at that point that Louis was there?
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear Miss Samuels there? What happened when she came over?
She was banging on the door saying for me to come out. She said, come out here, I'm going to kick your ass. Why don't you come out here?
So then, according to you, she knew you were there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you did not come out?
No.
I see it again. Thank you. What happened next?
I received a phone call after Louis had left to get her out of there.
Louis went outside?
Yeah.
Louis, did you see her when you went outside? Louis?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You went outside. What did you see when you got outside? Just look at me. Don't make up any stories because you know what will happen to you. I'll wipe up the floor with you.
I know.
Just tell me what you saw and what you heard when you got outside, if anything.
I seen her. Basically, I was just telling her, you know what I mean, why are you starting trouble? You know what I mean, I'm out of here. Just get out of here, you know what I mean?
Could you try to speak clearly, you know? So you told her basically to get out?
Yeah. That, you know what I mean, it's over with.
Louis, I know that you're a nice guy. So the answer is yes.
Yes.
And what did she respond to you? Did she say anything?
Talking a bunch of garbage or whatever.
Louis, do you curse in front of your mother?
No.
Would you curse in front of the priest?
No, ma'am.
So you would have to search in your vocabulary and find other words to use, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I want you to tell me what she said to you when you told her to leave.
She was really, like, crying, tell you the truth. She was, like, crying and, like, tripping because she seen me.
She was crying?
Because she seen her car out there and she knew I was with her, basically.
Don't tell me what she knew. I want you to tell me what you saw. You saw her crying?
Yeah.
Did she say anything to you?
There were mostly cuss words.
That she said to you?
Yeah.
Did she finally leave?
I thought she left because my sister lives in the same apartments. And I went to my sister's house and I came back out and she was at her car.
You saw her at her car?
Yeah, because her car...
No, look at me. You actually saw her near Miss Samuel's car? Look at me.
Yeah, it's right there on the corner of Driscoll and Paseo Padre.
How close did you see her to the car? From where you are to where?
The microphone.
How long was she standing that close to the car that you saw?
15 to 20 minutes. Because I was trying to have her leave the apartment complex. I left and went in my sister's house and she was gone. But when I came back, my brother-in-law had told me that she was out there still.
Did you see her when you came out there again? Is that when you saw her at the car, or did you not actually see her at the car?
I seen her at the car.
When?
The first time.
The first time?
Yeah. As soon as we left the apartment.
Down, Louis. Now as clear as mud.
Fog is not lifting.
Okay, when had you parked the car there?
I would say not even a half hour before I was just there.
About a half hour before Miss Jordan came over?
Yes.
When did you see the car again?
After I was clear that she had left. I'm not about to go out there after she said she was going to kill me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
How come you didn't say I was in the car. I saw what happened. I didn't do it. Somebody else did it.
I said that I was there.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Erin Samuel says her boyfriend's ex, Barbara Jordan, vandalized her car. Barbara says she didn't do it.
Did you have any further conversation with Miss Jordan?
She had called my cell phone and told me to come out and look in my car.
She called you on your cell phone?
Yeah. After
When?
the incident happened, right after she did it and left.
Okay, good. And then you went out and saw what damaged the car. Let me see it.
This is of the windshield, and the police report says how they examined the vehicle themselves and took pictures, but I don't know how to get those pictures.
What kind of car do you have?
I don't have one.
What kind of car do you drive in?
I don't.
Who's Kim?
My mom.
But your mother has a car.
Yeah. He does
Look at
too,
that. Look at that. Your mother has a car.
She's in jail, though.
Your mother has a car.
Yes.
That a witness says matched the license plate of the car that was responsible for the damage to her car.
That's true.
Ooh,
I
how
was there,
interesting.
but I did not do it.
How interesting.
The girl I was with did do it.
Really?
Yes. I didn't even know her car. I did not know nothing about her, but this girl
The
had
girl
known
who
her.
was driving the car did it?
No, not the driver.
You were the driver?
No, neither one of us were the driver. There was a third girl involved.
So you were in the car?
Yes.
Good! How come you didn't mention that in your answer?
What?
How come you didn't say, I was in the car, I saw what happened, I didn't do it, somebody else did it?
I said that I was there.
Oh, no, you didn't.
I said that I was there, and I called from across the street on the payphone.
No, you didn't say that you were there. Listen, Barbara, you didn't say in your answer anything about being present when the vandalism occurred to her car.
I didn't get that far.
You got that far in your answer to me.
In my police report, it says
You
that
got
too.
that far in your answer to me.
My police report says that I admit that I was there, but I did not do it.
You did it as far as I'm concerned, honey. Unless you can give me a good reason why anybody else would vandalize her car.
Because the other girl knows her, and she said that she was saying things about me, and she said, how are you going to let it ride? How are you going to just let her? I'm like, I don't really care, because I broke up with him. He was in jail. I broke up with him, and I was staying with him. I don't care that they're together. I don't care about none of that. And I am not jealous of anything. Why would I care?
Tell me how you got to be in a car with somebody who vandalized her car and what this other girl had against her.
I do not know what she had against her.
I don't know either. All I know is the car
I don't have
belonged,
nothing against her.
All I know is the car belonged to your mother, who you tell me is where?
In jail.
In jail.
It has nothing to do with none of this.
All right. Tell me no more. Give me the estimates on the car, please.
The estimates on the car are on the police report.
Where's the windshield? This is the restraining order.
I asked you for one thing. I said, give me the estimate on the car.
The complete and total cost is at the very last.
What year car is this?
2000.
Was the car repaired?
No.
Why not?
Don't have the money to repair it. I didn't plan
There's no
on-
insurance on the car?
No.
Who owns the car free and clear?
Me now. It was just paid off recently.
When was it just paid off?
Not even a month ago on my
Well,
birthday.
if it was just paid off a month ago, that means that when this happened in June, you had to keep insurance on the car because there was a money lender involved, so you had to keep insurance on the car.
But I didn't want to pay a $500 deductible that I didn't have to get the car repaired.
Just a second. I'm going to love this. You had a $500 deductible in June, is that right?
Yeah.
Of course. We're now 6 months later, and I'm asking you why you didn't have the car fixed when you had insurance instead of having a bill here for $5,000. That doesn't sound right. Where'd you expect her to get $5,000 from, madam? You're not going to get $5,000. That's what you had your insurance for. You think that I believe this whole cock and bull story that you just told me?
The key
That you
marks?
didn't have, no, about the repairs to the car.
I didn't have the $500 for the insurance.
Let them fix as much as they can.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now, I want you to tell me about your counterclaim, Miss Jordan. Let's hear it.
Okay, she has a restraining order on me. And on
Rightfully so.
On the 11th of this month, at 5 o'clock in the morning, the same girl, Lisa, calls my house saying that she's outside. I go outside, and she's hiding in the car, too. and they give me a paper to say that they're going to sue me. I called my attorney and I told him that she had came there, and I said, she has a restraining order on me. What can I do about it? Because he said I could go to jail because she has the 100-yard restraining order. And I went back inside, and on my answer machine was a tape of her and Lisa laughing about the whole situation. They're all F the cops, this and that. Well, you can hear the tape.
Sure, I'd like to hear the tape. Bert, could you bring it up here? Maybe it's my here.
Okay, I'm gonna hit this. Put it in my phone. Oh, I have my phone. Talk about a fast getaway, huh? They're all laughing. Yeah, hello. I can't. Oh my god. Oh my god. No.
Does it get better?
It's just basically how they're laughing. It's how they came to my house.
They're laughing. They came to your house. They served you with a small claim summons.
And she's not even supposed to be on our property.
Just a minute. You don't have a protective order against her. Is that right? Shh, listen to me carefully. Do you have a protective order against her?
Not yet. I'm in the process of getting it.
Who handed you the summons?
Lisa handed it to him.
So Lisa never served you?
No, but they were at my house at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Fine. They can be at your house at 3 o'clock in the morning.
No,
they can serve
can't.
you with a summons. Okay. Your counterclaim is dismissed. It's not harassment.
And
in any event, and on your claim, listen to me carefully. You should have had your car fixed when you had insurance. However, I'm not going to penalize you for stupidity any more than $4,500 worth, because I am awarding you $500, which would have been your out-of-pocket expenses had you had your car repaired when you had insurance in June, when this incident happened. Do I make myself clear?
Yeah.
Good. Goodbye.
These are excused. You may step out.
I have papers saying that my vandalism has been dismissed, saying that I did not do it.
She was seen by people in the apartment complex. They called the police before I even got out to the vehicle to call them, and the description fit her.
That's all.
Now, this is case number 362 on the calendar in the matter of Thomas versus DiBiaso. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks have seats.
Mr. Thomas, you and the defendants live on the same block?
We're relative neighbors, Your Honor. I
Okay.
drew a sketch of our neighbor.
Just listen.
Okay.
You live on the same block.
Yes.
How many houses apart?
About a half-mile apart.
It is your claim the defendant's sons have these motorized bikes?
Yes.
And were riding up and down the street and had been at an excessive rate of speed.
Yes, they
you
were
have
doing.
young children. I assume that this is one of your children. And on one particular day, after confronting the boys, one of them kicked your car, causing a dent.
Yes.
You want the defendant, father, mother, to pay for that, the damage to the car. Mr. and Mrs. DiBiaso say that, yes, it's true that one of their sons did kick your car, but it was only after you ran over his son.
That's ridiculous.
Shh.
Sorry.
Shh. Only after you ran over his son, breaking his foot, crushing his foot, that son kicked your car. That's
correct.
Correct.
And they are countersuing for all of the medical bills and pain and suffering. Is that right?
That's correct.
That's what you're saying.
Yes.
So I want you two to sit down. And I want these boys to stand up. Put that down. I'm not interested in that right now. I'm not very good at those things. I'm good at finding out the truth. Who kicked the car?
It was me, Your Honor.
Perfect. Your name?
Chris.
What kind of a motorized bike were you riding that day?
1999 Yamaha 125.
And when did you get it?
I got it 2 days prior to when this took place.
Had you had a bike before that?
Several years before that.
Now, you knew Mr. Thomas from before, is that right?
I've never actually met him. I've seen him.
But you've seen him?
Yes.
You knew he was a neighbor?
Yes.
What day did you get the bike?
I think it was the 2nd of, I believe, August.
And what day did you break your foot?
2 days after, so it would be the 4th.
And when for the first time did Mr. Thomas ask you to drive slower when going up and down the street?
He had never asked me to drive slower.
Is that correct?
Prior to this day, I had not. And this day was August 1st when all this happened.
So you had to have gotten the bike before that, sir.
Okay, I'm not
July
completely...
30th.
July
It was
30th.
July 30th.
Okay. Now, let's go to August 1st. You and your brother are both riding your bikes?
Yeah, me and him had rode down...
Is that right?
Yes.
When did Mr. Thomas, for the first time that day, tell you to slow down?
He had not told us to slow down at all.
Ever?
Ever.
Okay. So I get to Mr. Thomas. You want to tell me your version of what happened on the 1st of August?
Yes, it was about 8 o'clock at night. These boys had been riding up and down the street. It seemed like a few hours. And like I said, there had been a prior history where my kids couldn't go out and ride their bikes on the street, so...
No. Slowly. Mr. Thomas, don't lose me. You said there'd been a prior what?
The prior times when they'd been riding their bikes up and down in front of our house.
You mean the day before that, perhaps?
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So that evening, I'd had enough of it, so I drove my car out onto the street. We have a large 1-acre yacht, so I drove my car out onto the street to stop them, to get their attention, to tell them they need to slow down if they need to. They have to go past our house to get to where the dirt roads are. So I wanted them to slow down and talk to them. They didn't stop. They split. They went around my car, and they stopped about 100 feet farther down, which is where my driveway was. So I drove down to them, and I started to get out of the car. Chris's motorcycle was right next to my door, and he was on it. And I said, you guys have got to stop this. I've got small kids. You can't go by here that fast. He used some expletives.
Tell me what he said. I've heard everything.
He said, this is our street. We can do whatever we want.
No.
We can.
Listen, I want you to be quiet. You weren't there. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good. That sounds about right.
He said,
go ahead.
We can do whatever we want, and you can't stop us. I was very angry, and I said, you've got to stop this. I've got small kids. I don't want you doing this. I'm going to go down and tell your parents. And I got back in my car. He drove his motorcycle around behind me. I went to back up, and I was just going to say, all right, enough. They took off. And I went about a foot, and I saw that he hadn't come around behind me, so I stopped the car. Okay, I looked out the back, and he was standing up and lifting his motorcycle up.
So he was behind you, and you knocked his motorcycle down.
Well, after talking to my wife, no, he had laid his motorcycle down behind me. There was a small scratch from his tire on the bumper of my car, and I have photographs of that, which shows that there was very minor damage to my car, so there could not have been significant damage to him.
I don't know
or
if there
his
was
motorcycle.
significant damage or not,
Right.
but
I did
clearly
bump him
your
with my
car
car.
came in contact
Yes.
with his motorcycle.
Yes.
Now, my question is, was it the back of your car that came in
Yes.
contact with his motorcycle, or
Yes,
the
it
front
was.
of your car?
The back bumper.
Is that right?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Now, stop there. You want to tell me how the back of his car came into contact with your bike?
Me and my brother had rode down the street going towards Mr. Thomas's house because our friend lives at the end of the street, which is the dirt road where we usually ride at. We found out he wasn't home, and on the way back, we were going down the shoulder of the road, and he comes blaring out of his driveway in a manner of what I suspected to try to knock me off my motorcycle. I had swerved to miss him, and I ended up in the middle of the street. He had drove around me. I got up, started my bike again. As I started to take off, he backed his car over me, looked at me and said, "That's what you get."
But just a minute. Are you telling me that he never said to you, you got to slow down?
Your Honor, he never said one word to us.
Is that right?
That is correct.
When his car hit your bike, you say it knocked it over?
It knocked it over, and it put my foot underneath his tire.
It's not physically possible.
No, that didn't happen.
Something.
Now, listen to me. Listen to me. You almost had me. You almost had me, Christopher. But I'm telling you right now, if you lie to me about something, and I don't care what you told them or what you decided to testify to today, I don't care. You almost had me. But if you lie to me, then I don't believe anything that you say.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He was in my face with his finger.
He was mad. He had it.
He got in his car and it threatened my dad to a fight.
He's too old for me to deal with. He's already cooked. You're not.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Ken Thomas says neighbor 15-year-old Christopher DiBiaso kicked a dent into the side of his car. Christopher says Ken ran him over and broke his foot.
Listen, he was, up until a moment ago, in my mind, not telling me the truth. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
About not having a discussion with you. Now, he knocked your bike down with his car.
Yes.
And what did you do next?
After he pulled forward to get me so I could get up, I picked my bike up, pushed it to the side of the street, started up, and proceeded home.
So you got on your bike.
Yes.
You put your feet on the pedals.
It's Kickstarter and pegs, yes.
You put your feet on the pedals.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you drove the bike home.
I rode the bike home.
And then what happened?
I limped in the house to get my dad, and my dad came out to ask the guy what his problem was, and he was in my face with his finger all over my dad's face. He got in his car and had threatened my dad to a fight and drove away.
When did you kick the car?
As he was driving away, Your Honor.
Now, My question to you, sir, what foot did you kick his car with?
My left foot.
And you injured your right foot?
I injured my right foot.
So you were standing on your fractured foot, is that right?
That is correct.
You put all your weight on your fractured foot in order to kick his car with the other foot?
That's correct, Your Honor.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. See? If you tell me the whole truth, he's too old for me to deal with. You see, he's already cooked. He's cooked. You're not. I believe that you broke your foot. I believe that you broke your foot when you kicked his car. That's what I believe. That doesn't excuse him from tearing out, which I believe he did. And I don't believe he tried to knock you over, because that would be stupid. But he was mad, and he had it. And he has a temper, and that's what happens when you have a temper. And I believe that the bike went down. I don't believe that your foot was under his car. I believe that the bike went down, but not with you on it. Can I see a picture of the dent?
Yes. There's several pictures of the overall car. It's not a small dent.
Oh, this is not a small dent. This is enough of a dent to break your foot. Yeah. Christopher. So I'm disposing of your counterclaim very fast, because I don't believe that your foot was broken in any other way but kicking his car. So your counterclaim is dismissed. Clear? Now, the only thing that I have to determine is whether or not you caused this damage to his car. No question you did. There's no question you did.
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Okay. How old are you? 15?
15.
And you? 14? Let's talk about when you have a motorcycle or a moped or whatever else it is that goes fast.
Okay.
And let's talk about being responsible. You see that child over there?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. What do you think would happen if you hit that child while she was playing in the street when you were going up and down the street with your motorcycle?
I would feel terrible.
No, what do you think would happen to her?
She would get hurt extremely bad.
Right. Now, how old do you have to be in order to get a driver's license in the state of California?
16, Your Honor.
So that neither you nor your brother can get a driver's license, is that right?
That's correct.
There is a reason why the state imposes certain restrictions on people having the ability to have a machine that can cause serious injury. And that is because children at age 14 and 15 lack judgment. You put a 14-year-old on a machine that can go, how fast can your bike go?
Probably about 65 miles an hour.
65 miles an hour, and they got all this testosterone, and they got all this puberty stuff going on, and they got all this hormone stuff going on, and they have no other way to take it out, so they take it out on the road. Well, if you're going to entrust a machine that can go 65 miles an hour to your children, then you have to be prepared for the consequences. If you want to give them a machine that can go 65 miles an hour, then you put the machines in a truck and you take them to a deserted area that is not residential, where they can drive, and there aren't other children, and there aren't other dogs, and there aren't people, and there aren't anybody else that they can frighten. And if you choose not to do that, then you are responsible. Do you understand?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Let me see the estimate to the damage to your car, please.
That is one of these right here.
You have a $500 deductible?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay. Consider yourself lucky.
Okay.
Really, consider yourself lucky. You broke your foot because you got mad. And you said to me you got angry because he was threatening my father. Right? Isn't that what you said?
Not only that, the fact that he had hit me with his car without even an attempt to try and ask me to stop, to do anything. He just figured he'd take it out with his car on me.
You think that he hit you with his car on purpose?
I believe he did.
That would be pretty stupid. That would be pretty stupid. You think that if you hit his daughter, that would have been an accident?
Yes, that would have been
an accident.
Yes.
Tragedy. Okay. Now, how fast were you going that day?
Probably about 30 miles an hour.
Was there any time during the day that you were going faster than 30 miles an hour?
Your Honor, I held
Answer
it
my
was
question.
not, Your Honor.
No, only 30 miles an hour.
Only 30 miles an hour.
30 miles an hour is pretty fast. It's faster than you can go on a bicycle if you're that age. Your parents have to feel that you're responsible enough. If the state of California doesn't believe you're responsible enough to drive a vehicle that can go 65 miles an hour, I wouldn't give a bike like that to one of my kids who was 15. If you choose to do that, you pay. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $700 as requested. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Unfair. Completely unfair.
I think Judge Judy saw straight through the truth.
I hope the next boy he runs over is as lucky as my son to be able to walk away.
There's no way that he got his foot broken and then kicked my car.
There's other kids in our neighborhood that ride their dirt bikes, and if he stopped my son like that, he's going to stop the next kid like that.
There are some other boys that ride the bikes, and they do it slow, reasonable, responsible speeds.
His wife works at the school district. She's been to both of my son's school, making harassing comments regarding my boys.
Their son has been threatening my son at school.
We were perfectly at speeds in order to correct ourselves.
I have little kids, and there had been too many times. It was late at night, it was 8 o'clock at night, and I'd had enough.
If his daughter would have ran in front, we could have stopped instantly.
This father's, I can see where the kid gets his attitude from.
Well, hopefully they'll just leave my kids alone.
Parents need to be responsible for their kids' actions.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Boncheva versus Lowhorn. Step forward, please.
17-year-old Petya Boncheva is suing 23-year-old welder Larry Lowhorn for keying Petya's car. Larry is denying the charge.
All right, this is not going to take long, Bird. Don't get too comfortable. According to your complaint, you knew the defendant. Whether you liked him or he liked you, I quite frankly don't care whether you were friends or not, but according to your complaint, you were at somebody else's house, you walked into the house, he's sitting there with his shoes off, and you commented that he had dirty socks, which irritated him. The next thing you knew, you went outside, so you saw that somebody had keyed your car, and you say it was the defendant. He says, you did comment about his dirty socks, but he didn't key your car.
Correct.
Is that right?
That is correct, Your Honor.
I probably think you keyed her car. Just watching you, watching your body language. I'm really smart when it comes to that. I think you did do that, but it, see what I mean?
Yes.
But it's up to her to prove it to me. And you have no witnesses, is that right?
No.
Nobody saw him do it?
No.
He didn't admit that he did it?
No.
So what do you want me to do?
Well, he actually did say that he was going to do something to my car, and the night that...
Your Honor?
Don't speak until I speak to you.
Yes.
The night that he keyed my car, we were over at my friend Keith's house.
Don't give me the whole story. I want to know. He said he was going to key your car. When did he say he was going to do something
After I made a comment about his socks, telling him that his socks were dirty, he looked at me and he said, well, you really shouldn't make comments to people that know what kind of car you drive. So I said, you don't even know what kind of car I drive, and he reminded me how we met and the night he'd seen my car, so I was like, okay, you know, he knows my car. Then right after he made a comment, he said, well, you better watch out now. Watch what happens to you now.
So you have pretty good reason to think that it was him, right?
Yeah.
But you understand that in court you have to have proof.
Yeah, well, actually, we did call, I did call the Clinton Township Police Department. We did make a report about it. I was in there for not more than a half an hour, and after he made a comment, he went outside for 5 minutes, and you know, he came back, he just looked at me and smiled. So my friend Keith said, well, let's go look at your car. You know, maybe he did do something to it. So me and him walked outside and seen my car was keyed. Right after he was out there for 5 minutes, came back, and, you know, we went outside. So
what did the police tell you when you reported it?
They told me to make a report about it, take him to court, because
they couldn't do anything about it because you had no witnesses. They couldn't arrest him.
No.
Now you want to say something?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. What she's failing to mention at first is that she was kind of upset with me in the beginning, before all this even started, because, like, when we initially met...
I don't care!
Okay.
Get to her car!
Okay, when I got to the apartment and she started saying this stuff to me...
about your dirty socks?
Yes.
And about your hygiene?
Yes, I kind of got aggravated, so I kind of went outside. My witness, Sam, and another girl were outside. They were talking. I went out there to use the phone because we had gotten the argument. I called my girlfriend to come pick me up because I didn't want to sit here and argue with a 16-year-old about something as petty as, like, dirty socks. So I called him. We came up back to... Sam came up first, and I came up later with Laura.
Sir,
actually,
Mr.
he's lying,
Lawhorn, shh, I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear you.
Okay.
Unless you're going to tell me, Judge, I'm going to fess up. Either I keyed her car, or my friend keyed her car, or I saw somebody key her car. I don't want to hear all your other nonsense. Do you understand?
Yes.
Did you key her car?
No, Your Honor.
Do you know who did?
I have no idea.
You have no idea?
No.
Right. You have no proof that he keyed your car. You have no witnesses. He didn't make a confession. Do you understand? I can't find that he keyed your car. He might have, or he might have, or somebody else that was outside might have. He may have given them the key to key your car. You have no proof.
But he said he was going to do something to my car. So, and I was in there for not more than a half an hour, and we walked outside as soon as she came in, and my car was keyed. No, Sam was not outside with him when he went outside. Neither was Laura. They were all in the apartment with us.
Well, they weren't.
They were all in there. So he went outside alone.
You have no proof that he keyed your car. Not sufficient in court, anyway. Not sufficient for the police to arrest him for vandalism, and not sufficient for me to be able to charge him for fixing your car. He might have done it. Probably did, based upon his body English, but I can't make a judgment based upon that. So unfortunately, I have to dismiss your case. That's all. Case is dismissed.
Now, this is case number 200 on the calendar in the matter of Wofford versus Cox. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats.
Miss Wofford, you and the defendant, according to your complaint, had an off-again, on-again relationship for about 7 years.
Correct.
The last time it was off again, it is your claim that he came into the house and took all the property, half of which was yours. He says he got sick and tired of being tossed out with the clothes on his back over the 7-year period and decided that he was going to take the property this time because he paid for it and it's his. He's got a counterclaim for a truck that he purchased for $750 that he says was put in your name because he had some driver's license problems and you had the truck towed onto your property and he wants his truck back. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So my question is, why are you bothering me? Together on and off for 7 years, not married. You see, we don't have courts here for those people who choose just to live together. We have courts for people who are married and divorcing. You know, the property is either community property or it's property that is divided by equitable distribution. But you expect me to go back and figure out who bought what? Is that what you want?
No.
No.
So what do you want?
I would like half of what was given, or half of what was ours.
Who bought it?
We bought it together. We shared all of our monies together.
Did you have a joint bank account?
No, we did not.
You mean you would see a TV and you would say, well, the TV is $500. Here's $250 and here's $250.
That's correct.
Show me. No, the burden is on her.
Okay.
Just listen to me. The burden is on her.
Okay. I would be more than glad to show you proof of receipts, but when he came into my house after the day he broke the restraining order, they took all the receipts. They took the contents of the file came. So I have no receipts. I have pictures of what the TV looks like. I have warranty cards on it.
Did you
That's
go
all
into
I
the
have
house after there was a restraining order filed against you?
I thought I was illegally served. I even called the courts. It was the next day. I went back and only took what things were mine.
Tell me what you took.
I took my TV, my camping gear, my skis, and things that my parents have given me over the years. Tin cans that we collect.
What else?
And my clothes. VCR that a friend of mine owed me $20, and he gave me his VCR instead because he didn't have the money to pay me back.
What else?
That's all I can remember.
Okay. Now, how long did you live in this apartment together?
About 5 years.
Is that right?
Yeah, a little over 5 years.
Did you sleep in a bed?
Yes, we did.
Did he take the bed?
No.
Did you sit on a couch? Shh. Did you sit on a couch?
Yes.
Did he take the couch?
No.
Did you eat on a table?
Yes.
Did he take the table?
Yes, he did.
Kitchen table?
Yes.
Did you take the table?
Yes. I just purchased it.
Just a second. Took the table. Take the chairs that went with the table?
There was 2 chairs with it.
2 chairs. Now let's go back to the living room. There's a sofa.
Yes.
Is there any chair in the living room?
There was 1 chair.
Did he take the chair?
Yes, he did.
Is that right?
The recliner chair that my mom gave me, yes.
Where did she
give us?
Did
My
his
mom
mother
never gave you anything.
Shh. Come on. Swafford. Did the recliner chair come from his mother?
Yes.
Is there a cocktail table in the living room?
Yes, there was.
Okay. And?
He took that also, which was a Christmas gift.
Just a second. Did you, you know, Mr. Cox, when I ask you what you took, you're
I'm
supposed to
sorry.
answer me, sir.
I'm a little nervous, that's all.
I don't care if you're nervous or not. You remembered your skis and you remember the $20 VCR. When I ask you what you took, you're supposed to tell me. How many pieces of furniture did you leave?
Everything that was hers. The couch. She has another kitchen table upstairs. All the 4 chairs that go to that kitchen table.
Just a minute. Is there another kitchen table in the house?
Yes, there was.
And did he leave it?
Oh, yes, he did.
Good. What else?
That was hers.
Oh, just a second. What else did you leave is what I want to know.
Her microwave, the microwave stand. All
Okay,
the
just a second. Was there a microwave in the house?
Yes.
And did he leave it?
Yes.
You see what I'm trying to get at, Ms. Wofford, is the following. I have absolutely no intention of wasting my time in going through a bunch of ridiculous items of property. You now have a house. Your house has a bed to sleep in, a table and chairs to eat off of, a couch to sit on, right?
Yes, correct.
You have a microwave, and I assume an oven. Oven, it's kind of hard to say, but you have a microwave to warm things up, and as far as I'm concerned, that's as much cooking as any natural person has to have. So you have a perfectly livable condition, and I have no intention of going through items like a table and 2 chairs. You got a table and 2 chairs, you got a table and 4 chairs. You got a couch, you took the recliner chair.
Okay, may I say something? There was personal items of mine that he took.
Like what?
When he took his clothes out of the closet, instead of looking, he just gathered them up like this. There was a ski jacket that was bought for me from my sister. The skis that he took that were given to me by my sister. There was several clothes, my fishing pole, my tackle box, the coffee table that was built for me by my son's friend. And here's a statement from him, from the agreement that him and Ron had on it.
Because I paid for it. That's one of the agreements.
No, that is not.
Well, maybe why don't you explain why we got another coffee table?
Listen to me. Listen to me.
I'm sorry.
Now I want to go back to the truck.
Yes, ma'am.
Who purchased the truck?
I did.
We did.
Ask her
Just a second. Just a second.
Ask her who the owners were that I bought it from. She don't even know.
How much did the truck cost?
I paid $700 for it.
Where did you get the $700 from?
I made payments as I was working. Each payday, I made payments on it because I couldn't pay $700 up front.
We made payments
Just a
on
second. Just a second. How did you make payments on it?
Because my boss...
How?
Oh, out of my check.
Check or cash?
Cash.
Now, the rest of the money, sir, went for
food,
rent and gas and electric, and I assume that you paid those things together.
We did.
Is that right?
My checks usually paid all the bills and stuff because my checks were bigger than her amount because at the time, she was only making minimum wage.
Okay. So your checks went to pay the household bills, and her checks went for what?
To get through. She had a direct deposit. In the last 6-8 months, the year that we were together, her money was her money, and mine was mine. More or less, my money got through, and I had to beg her for
That is not true whatsoever.
That is
not
true.
Everything we had together was paid 50-50. He paid half the rent. I had paid half the rent.
Show
Electricity.
I have some bills to show you that.
Show me.
I have no.
Did you pay your rent by check?
No, we paid it by cash. And can we get back
listen to me. Listen to me. Hey!
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Can we talk about the restraining order he broke?
No.
Ma'am, what about the...
No.
And later today,
This is her signature, 213. No deposit. Price the puppy, $500. No deposit. What are you, a Swiftie?
No, ma'am, that's her signature, ma'am.
No, it isn't.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Diane Wofford says ex-boyfriend Ron Cox stole her belongings when he moved out of their apartment. Ron says Diane stole his truck.
Do you have a car?
Yes, I do.
What kind of car do you have?
I have the Toyota pickup and I have a Chevy.
No! What kind of car do you
I
have?
have a Chevy Cavalier that is
All right. Now, what year car is it?
It's a 90 Chevy Cavalier.
The time that the truck was purchased, were you driving the Chevy Cavalier?
Yes.
And what was Mr. Cox driving?
He wasn't driving anything at the time because he doesn't have a driver's license.
Bird, would you give me the title, please?
Can we talk about the restraining order he broke?
No.
Okay. Can we talk about his
You could talk
alcoholism?
about you could talk about that with your children, but I'm not interested in it. I'm just interested in getting this. Sorry. I'm just interested in, right now, the truck. Oh, okay. I see that this truck was purchased in two people's names. Is that right?
I purchased.
Is that right?
It is at the time, yeah.
All right. Now, Mr. Wofford, let me explain to you something, sir. While there is no equitable distribution or community property involved in people living together, when people choose stupidly to live together for 7 years or 5 years without benefit of marriage, I'm going to take the easiest way out for a court in determining who owns property. And as far as I'm concerned, this property is owned 50-50. Do you understand? You chose, for whatever reason, to put her name on the title.
I made that mistake.
You made a mistake. If you made a mistake, why should I have to suffer for it by extending this case any longer than I have to? Now, You paid $700 for the truck?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that right? Correct. Very good. Now, Miss Wofford, are you driving this pickup now?
Yes, I am.
What happened to your Chevy?
It's broken. This is...
So you're driving it?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, correct.
And do you drive it to work?
Yes, I do.
And I assume you want to keep it?
Yes, I do.
Very good. Then you will pay him on his counterclaim, okay, $350. Your claim is dismissed. On the counterclaim, I'm awarding you $350, sir. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Sign over the title.
What about all my stuff? What about my personal belongings that he has taken out of my home?
Sign over the title. Do we have a pen?
Your Honor, may I say something?
No.
Ma'am, what about the...
No. You're getting a truck, Miss Wofford, that in all probability you had nothing to do with paying for, and you're getting it at a bargain price. Do you understand?
I guess.
Do you understand? Worth at least as much as the fishing pole you say that he took. And that somebody's skis that... Did you sign it, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Now, Bird, would you hand that over to Miss Wofford? And then, Bird, would you do me the last favor? Sure. Would you show them out?
Parties are excused. You may step out.
This man came into my home, ripped me off. I have a restraining order about his alcoholism problems this man has had.
A whole relationship was abusive, both physically and mentally.
He's a nothing. He's a no good. He'll always be a no good.
And now,
This is case number 164 on the calendar in the matter of Safford versus Daniels.
Thank you.
Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Mr. Safford, the defendant is your child's maternal grandmother.
Yes, ma'am.
And your lawsuit claims that she had had custody of this child for a while, and then you were ultimately awarded custody of your daughter?
Yes.
And you claim an overpayment of child support.
Correct.
Ms. Daniels says that while you may have had physical custody of the child during that period, she actually had legal custody by a court order. Is that right?
Yes.
And therefore she is entitled to the support. Is that your defense?
That's my defense.
Your complaint was rather sketchy, Mr. Stafford, but from what I gather, you had a relationship with the defendant's daughter. Is this your daughter?
Yes, ma'am.
And the child was born, and you claim that you were told that you were not the child's father. Is that right?
That's correct.
Who told you you were not the child's father?
The social worker at the clinic there, the hospital where she was born.
When were you advised you were not the child's father?
The date of birth, I was present.
Is your name listed on the birth certificate?
No, it isn't.
Is someone else's name listed on the birth certificate?
Yes. After I had hired a lawyer, found out that the defendant's daughter was married. She never told me.
So there is another man's name as the father of the child on the birth certificate?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor.
Yes.
He's not telling the truth. He knew my daughter was married. We're cousin. And he didn't want it.
Okay. Did you advise the plaintiff that he may not have been the father of this child?
No. He was living with her when she got pregnant.
That doesn't necessarily mean anything.
No, but he knew he was the father. My daughter told him. When he was present at birth, my daughter stated to him to sign the birth certificate.
Ma'am, that's not true.
He wouldn't put his name on it.
That's not true.
You weren't there.
No, I wasn't, but
you
my
weren't
daughter
there.
is here.
You weren't there.
She refused to be there. She didn't want nothing to do with her daughter at the time when she
What
was giving
happened
birth.
when the baby
That's
was
not
born,
true.
sir? Because this is important.
What happened when Vendela was born was that she was placed in a foster home.
No, at the time of her birth.
Yes.
You were in the hospital when she was born.
Yes.
So at that point, you thought you were the child's father.
Yes. I was under the impression that we both were going to take a paternity test. The social worker came back and told me that Deirdre stated that I'm not the father of Vendela. And she said that the father's been named. I said, well, that's...
Don't speak because you weren't there.
My daughter
Don't
was.
speak because you weren't there. And your daughter was on drugs at the time.
No, she wasn't.
This child was born with traces of cocaine in her system?
Negative.
So why was the child placed in foster care?
Because of her past history, which I had no idea to the extent that it is.
You mean past drug history?
Yes.
And that's why the child was removed?
Correct.
You can stand up with your mother if you want to. At what point, sir, were you advised that you were the father of this child?
We took a genetic marking paternity test.
When?
In 99 of March.
When was your child born?
1/28/98.
Between January 28th of 1998 and March of 1999, had you seen this child?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
I didn't have no contact with the mother or the family after being told I wasn't the father.
And it was who that told you were? Was it the social worker or was it the mother of the child?
The grandmother came into the picture probably 9 months later, subpoena me to court for paternity.
In 1998, you were told that someone else's name had been placed on the birth certificate.
Yes, ma'am.
Whose name was on the birth certificate?
It's my husband, which was separated. But he and I were engaged, and I was in the process of getting divorced.
There was no
Just a
engagement.
second.
There was no ring involved. There
Just a
was none of
second.
that.
Somebody else's name was placed on the birth certificate at the time the child was born.
Because I was still married, and they have to do that in the state of Massachusetts.
No, she lied.
1998, the defendant summoned you to court. Is that right?
It was fall of 98.
Took the paternity test in March of 99, and the results of that test established that you were the child's father.
Yes, ma'am.
When did you initiate custody proceedings?
It was August 4th of 99 that the adjudication was supposed to have been heard. For some reason, I have no idea. It went on for, I believe, 7 months until I was adjudicated. I have the document here that was signed by both myself, the lawyer, and the defendant, the grandmother who was guarantee relative of Vendel at the time.
Okay, at the time, the child was ultimately taken out of foster care and placed in the care of her grandmother.
Correct.
You have other children of this daughter, don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
How many other children?
2, but I only have 1 now.
Why, is she taking one back?
No, she went to live with the father.
Did the grandmother consent to your having custody of the child?
There was a court hearing. She had no say in it because I was not mentally impaired or no drugs or anything like that.
How's your daughter doing now?
She's doing fine. I'm happy that I have her and that she's out of the environment that she's in. She's doing a lot better than she was.
Okay, when did you take physical custody of the child?
That was March 9th of 2000.
And how much child support were you paying that time?
It was $200 a week.
And when you were ultimately called to court, that was in 99, and they made a paternity order. They made a retroactive order so that you had to pay several $1,000s to the defendant.
Correct.
And you did, in fact, pay that.
Yes, that was satisfied.
How many weeks after you obtained custody of the child did the money continue to come out of your check?
Your Honor, why he looked for that? Could I tell you?
Just a minute. Wait a second. I'll get to your side. Okay. I promise you.
A little over a month and a half.
So if you had custody for 7 weeks, that comes to $1,400. Okay, now it's up to you, Miss Daniels. Talk to me.
Okay. Back referring to when he said he was supposed to take custody in 1999, it was because he didn't want to have nothing to do with her. We went to court and we signed this paper, and he was supposed to take custody. He made no attempt to get a place to put her, no attempt to help pay for her living expense. He gave me nothing. And then he tell you that he don't know why. It's because he didn't want nothing to do with the baby. That's why he didn't take it in 1999. And I have this paper proving he signed it, and he's supposed to take custody of it. But he didn't because he didn't want to have nothing to do with her.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He pretended to be my friend and cared about me, and then we fell in love. He wanted a child. Then I had a drug relapse. I came to him and told him. He left me pregnant.
And later today.
You say he gave you the ring on May 8th. He says he gave it to you on April 1st. And you say that you hadn't seen the ring before.
Yes.
Baloney!
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Christopher Safford says his daughter's maternal grandmother, Linda Daniels, owes for the return of child support.
Listen, your daughter created this problem.
Yes.
And I'm going to explain how your daughter created this problem. She was married to somebody else at the time she gave birth to this child.
True.
Which means, according to her, they must put his name on the birth certificate, that her husband. That's not always true. Doesn't have to put it down if she says he's not the father. He could be legally compelled to support the child until somebody else gets on the hook for support. However, she created this problem because she cannot, well, just pay attention. If this child went on welfare, welfare wouldn't know who to sue for the support. Do you sue the father who's on the birth certificate, or do you sue this man who hasn't been adjudicated the father? I mean, he's had the child now for a considerable period of time. The court would not have given him the child if he was unfit to have the child.
The court didn't give him the child at the time he took her.
We gave her.
Ma'am.
After that.
Ma'am, if I may.
No, you don't have to. She's talking to me now.
Go ahead.
Can I speak?
Go ahead.
This situation, this situation is my fault. But with my kids, the reason my kids are there with them, it's because I put them there. I've maintained a job and security, but I was not stable enough. And with him, he came to my family. We're cousins. He told my mom he was going to help me. He pretended to be my friend and cared about me, and then we fell in love, and he knew I was married, and then we got engaged. My mom had problems. She told him to stay away from me. He wanted a child. Then I had a drug relapse because I got clean. I had a drug relapse. I came to him and told him. He left me pregnant. I put myself in the hospital. That's why my baby wasn't born with drugs in her system.
It's not true.
I put my baby in the hospital so she wouldn't be clean.
My
and
daughter,
I put my kid with my mom.
My
in
daughter
foster
suffered
care.
from bipolar. I told Chris this.
And they took me off
She
all
had a drug
medication.
problem. I told
And
Chris
that's how
that too.
I relapsed.
But he was working with social people. He said the people that had drug problems that he could help her.
I don't.
He
I
helped
never
her, all
worked
right.
with people with
yes,
drug problems.
Yes, you did.
No,
listen,
That's what you
I
told
know what
me.
I've done for
And
work.
You told me
listen,
that.
Stop talking to each other. Listen to me. Listen to me. If he had physical custody of this child for a period of 7 weeks, you had no right to receive the support for the child. Whether you had, I don't care whether he took her or not. The court left her with him. She's
no,
not.
She had custody. It was a kidnapping
I
charge.
don't care.
He took her.
I don't care. The money, listen to me, the money is supposed to go for the support of the child. If he's giving her money, that means he has less money to support the child with. It's not her money, it's the child's money.
I didn't take it for myself.
That was money owed to her.
Ma'am,
No,
can I say
no,
something?
She's a kept baby in the state of
No.
Massachusetts.
Listen
you
to me.
cannot get welfare with a family kept baby.
Listen to me
And he
very
owed her.
carefully. For the first several months of this child's life, the child was in foster care.
Yes.
2 years she had her with no money.
She didn't
Just
have
a
it for
minute.
2 years.
Then
Yes, I
there
did.
was a lump sum paid. Both parties acknowledged that there was a lump sum paid at
Yes.
the time when he was finally adjudicated the father.
Yes.
It should have went to the state.
No, it shouldn't have.
Several $1,000s. What I'm saying to you is this money, while the child was in his custody, that you got from his check, should have taken that money and said, here, make sure the baby has this money. Because I'm not supposed to have it. It's not supposed to help defray my costs, my rent, my gas, it's supposed to go for the baby. So you owe him $1,400 and pay him. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm upset because my mom,
He
every
is a
cent
liar.
my mom got, she took care of my kids.
Clearly, all the allegations are not true.
He wouldn't even be a man and take his daughter when we called and told him to please come get her.
As far as me taking care of my daughter, I've been doing that from day one since she gave her up.
And he's put my mom through this, and no one's getting hurt but our daughter.
It was clearly money motivated.
I'm not hurt. He's hurting the baby, not me.
It's clearly a mother taking control of her own daughter's life.
He left me pregnant with my baby.
And I told you to leave him alone.
People like this need to be exposed.
Plus, he's cousin. You don't mess with your cousin.
When people like this come into court and clog the system up using our tax dollars and make a mockery out of it, that shouldn't be done.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Edwards versus Garmany. Step forward, please.
Security Officer Gloria Edwards is suing 18-year-old student Charity Garmany for damage to her car due to an accident. Charity says she was being chased.
Miss Edwards, it is your claim that the defendant, who you don't know, hit your car. Her car was traveling in reverse.
Yes.
Miss Garmany said, well, it's true she was traveling in reverse, but it was really both your faults. So tell me about it. When did it happen and where?
Okay, it happened April the 22nd on North Houston Street around 7:45.
Where were you going?
I was on my way to the grocery store.
Tell me what happened.
Okay, I was traveling south on North Houston Street.
Which is your car?
Car number 2 is my car. And about 500 feet from me was car number 1, which was her car. All of a sudden, I see her reverse lights come on. And I swerved to the right of the road, tried to get out of her way. And
when you say you saw her reverse lights go on, did she start to travel in reverse?
Yes. It was like at full speed because I had just turned onto this street, and I was doing maybe 15 miles an hour. And all of a sudden, I just saw her reverse light come on, so I was trying to get out of her way.
So you moved to try to get out of the way,
right?
And she hit you,
right,
on the side of your car,
right?
Okay. I assume she got out of the car.
Well, I got out of my car. I got out and walked around, and I asked her what was going on, and she said this girl was beating on the hood of her car. And I told her, I said, well, look at the damage that you've done to my vehicle and your vehicle. It's going to cost more to have mine and yours fixed than it is for a fist dent that somebody put on yours.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Gloria Edwards says her car was damaged when Charity Garmany hit her while driving in reverse. Charity says she was being chased by another vehicle.
Okay, now I'll hear from you.
Okay,
I was driving. Me and my friends were driving down the street. We was going to get off the road. Was leaving to go across the railroad tracks. And I was coming forward.
And what?
I was coming forward, going off the street. I'm right here.
You were going forward?
Yes, to go across the street, to go across the railroad tracks. That's when Nikki and Aaron pulled their car in front of mine to block me in.
Nikki and Aaron are people that you know?
I know them, but I don't know them personally. I know them by name.
But you knew them?
Yes.
So they blocked your car?
Yes. Then Marcus pulls from this street right here, completely blocks me in from going forward.
Now, Mr. is car number D?
Yes.
Did you know Mr.
Yes.
Had you had any trouble with him?
No.
So he's blocking your car?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So she gets out of the car and starts beating on the hood of my car, telling me to get out.
The girl who was in car number C?
Yes, which is Nikki.
And you never had any words with Nikki? You didn't know why? No, come on.
She had attempted to pull us over before.
Why?
I guess she wanted to fight. Still to this day, I'm not quite sure why.
Why would she want to fight with you if you only knew her by name?
Because my witness, she doesn't like her.
All right, so you had somebody in your car that she didn't like?
Mm-hmm. My witness.
And that's what this is all about?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So she gets out of the car and starts hitting the hood of my car, telling me to get out, that she's going to kick our ass.
Were you frightened?
Not frightened. I just didn't want to fight. I saw no point in it.
Well, were you frightened when Mr. pulled his car up and you were totally blocked in?
Yes, I couldn't go forwards.
So you were very frightened. Were you frightened?
Well, yes, but I mean, because I couldn't go forward. So she gets out of the car, telling me she's going to kick my... I can't go forwards. So I looked in my rearview mirror. I put my car in reverse. Maybe 5 miles an hour. It was slow enough. She was still beating on the hood of my car, telling me to get out.
Who's she?
Nikki.
Who was Nikki? You're pointing to Nikki.
Her witness.
You're Nikki?
I'm Nikki.
Oh, stand up here, young lady. Do you know the plaintiff? Did you know her before this incident happened?
No.
Well, what's all this about with getting out of your car and blocking her car?
I've never blocked her car, and I mean, I was standing on the depot corner. Me and some of my friends were standing on the depot corner, just talking, hanging out, and these girls kept riding by all day, screaming and cussing at us.
That's not true. We just got there.
Telling us they were going to beat us up, and I mean, just acting silly, shooting us birds, and then finally they kept riding by. And me and my friend Erin, the girl I was with, we were fixing to leave, and they come down the road, and so I was trying to stop them. And
How were you trying to stop them?
I was yelling at them, trying to stop them. I never touched their car. They were never blocked in. Nobody ever pulled out in front of them or anything.
That's
they were
not
never
true.
blocked in.
Sit down. Nikki, there's a reason she went into reverse. She didn't all of a sudden have a lapse in her mind, and instead of going forward, she decided, well, I'm going to ride backwards. People don't do that. So she was clearly frightened about something. Nikki, go ahead.
So I proceeded to reverse.
You went into reverse because
Yes.
you were frightened and you wanted to get away from them.
Yes.
And you hit her car.
No, she hit me. I was
No. Your car number A, right?
Yes.
You
she
hit
did
her.
not proceed to slow down. She instead speeded up. She even stated to the police officer that she speeded up. She saw my reverse lights on. She
And she
speeded
tried
up.
to get out of the way. Look at the way her car is. Miss.
When you see a reverse
Miss.
lights on, you
Miss.
usually reverse.
No, you don't. You try to get out of the way.
You reverse. I was not that close to her. She sped up to go around me.
She tried to get out of the way. Look at where the damage is. Look, miss. Look at your photograph. Look at it. That is a photograph of somebody who's trying to get away from you. Going that way, trying to get away from you because you're going backwards. If she sped up, she would have hit you straight on. She's trying to get away from you. Duh. Okay. The lesser of the two estimates that you have is 2616?
Yes.
You have a photograph of the damage?
Yes.
Can I see it, please? Did you have damage to your car?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you sue Nikki?
I tried to file a harassment warrant on her, and
I'm not talking about a harassment warrant. I'm talking about you say that she caused the damage to your car. Did you sue her?
No, not yet.
What are you looking her up for?
I thought she said something.
Oh, she doesn't look like she's going to say a word. You say that this young lady and her friends caused this accident.
Yes, they did.
Well, why wouldn't you sue them?
I just graduated out of high school. I haven't had time yet. I'm going to them. I'm in the process.
Well, meanwhile, you take care of the plaintiff's damage. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,616.83. Thank you. That's all.
Now, this is case.
Judgment for the plaintiff. That's all.
Now, this is case number 235 on the calendar in the matter of Holmson versus Miles. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat, please.
Ms. Holmson, your claim is twofold. First, you claim that the defendant, who you were dating for a period of time, damaged your car, and he did it on purpose. He keyed your car, and then he damaged your sunroof and other parts of the car because he was angry. Second part of your claim is that he had agreed to pay for some medical tests for you, and while he gave you some money towards the medical tests, that's what he said, the amount of money that he gave you was not sufficient. But he said, I only agreed to give her $200. Any other tests that she did were tests that she decided to do on her own. Is that right?
Correct, Your Honor.
You also, Mr. Miles, acknowledge that you did cause some damage to the car, but you say that you did pay for that damage, and you're going to prove that to me, right?
Correct.
So, how long were you dating before you got into this argument with him?
I met him on Valentine's Day, and he did the damage to the car when he keyed the car in April.
April of what year?
Of last year.
So, in April of 2001, he keyed your car?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Okay, we got in an argument due to, because we were dating, and a woman had called the home, my home. She said that she just got out of jail and that Steve had come to pick her up, and she'd spent some time with him. So we got an argument over that, and I told him I didn't want to see him anymore, and he was drunk as usual. And he left, and I spoke with a neighbor. They said that they saw him.
Don't tell me what a neighbor saw.
Oh, I know. I personally didn't see it, but he laughed at me later to my face and said, ha, ha, ha. Okay? Later on, the woman had called, because he left when he was at work, he had left his cell phone at home, and I answered it. And it was the same woman. Well, this woman was all messed up, or something, I don't know. She stated that she had had sex with Mr. Miles. That just hurt me so bad, so I told him that due to the fact that I found out that she was a prostitute and coming out of jail, that I wanted to be tested because I wanted to leave him, and that was only fair. So he admitted that it was his fault, that much in fact he owed me that he would take me to the doctor and pay for all doctor bills. When we went to the doctor, he didn't give me any money. I haven't received a dime. My doctor bills come to $790.50. And at the end of it, it was so ugly when he moved in with me in my apartment on Grant.
So you're rambling.
Okay, no. It's very, no,
You're rambling.
Okay,
all right.
Anyway.
So let me understand this. It's simple. Your car was keyed, but you didn't see him do it. And your proof is that he looked at you and laughed and said, ha, ha, ha. That's your proof. What other damage was done to the car?
He took my car drunk to the car wash. He obviously had pushed a button in the middle console.
When was this?
I'd say middle May, because we took the car into the shop.
This was after this woman called you on the telephone?
Yes.
You took the car with him? You let him take the car? Were you still
yes,
together?
Yes, because we had just got through moving, and I was having a nervous breakdown.
Just
this
a second.
man
So you were
me.
still together at that point?
Yes.
And when did he key your car? What month?
April.
So after he keyed your car, you still lived with him?
Yes.
And then he took the car drunk in May?
Yes.
Do you drink too?
Occasionally,
yes.
But I don't drink and drive.
But you drink too?
Occasionally.
Yes. And you drink a little or a lot?
On occasions, I do drink.
How about today?
No.
How about today?
No.
What's the matter?
No.
What's the matter?
Just listening.
Okay. When did you go to the doctor?
6/12.
And when had you received the telephone call from this woman?
2 weeks prior, because she said he had to get some money to take me to the doctor. Well, after he'd agreed to pay so much money, the lab reports came back, and that ended up costing so much more money that he was unaware of, so I sent him.
And when did you finally separate?
He wouldn't leave the home because it's a law that you have to serve somebody and give them 30 days to leave. So I had to leave my own home and go to Alaska, leaving him in charge of my home and my animals. He destroyed my home, didn't feed my animals, wouldn't let my maids in to clean it.
Could you just tell me when you separated?
We separated when I returned from Alaska on July 9th. And, Your Honor, you can see that I need a follow-up because if something came back from saying that something was wrong with me, and due to the financial status that he left me in, I have been unable to return to the doctor to find out what is wrong with me. So I've lived with it for months, freaking out, thinking, what is wrong? And I can't afford to go back because I'm a single mom. I just paid for my daughter's wedding and picking up his end of my rent.
Let me explain something to you. If you think you have something wrong with you physically, you take care of that before you pay for your daughter's wedding. Don't talk stupid. Don't talk really stupid, because these tests are over a year old.
I sent them to him. He refuses to pay me.
I'm not talking about him refusing to pay you. I'm talking about if you think that there's something wrong with you physically.
Your Honor, I don't have insurance and I don't have the money, and it's cost a ton.
How much was your daughter's wedding?
$3,000.
You paid for that? You just told me?
She's entitled to that, Your Honor. I had promised her that.
That's great. That's great. But if you think there's something physiologically wrong with you, then you take care of that before you take care of anything else.
That's why I'm
anything.
So
don't be foolish. Don't be foolish. I mean, don't say stupid things to me, because if you say stupid things to me, it presupposes that I'm stupid. And I don't like people to think I'm stupid. Old, maybe. Stupid, never.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Don't care.
This is proof, Your Honor.
Don't care.
This is why I came to you, because I know you're very fair. And
I am very fair and very short-tempered.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Karen Holmson claims ex-boyfriend Carrie Miles owes for damage to her car and for the cost of blood tests after he had an affair with a prostitute. Carrie is countersuing for defamation of character.
All right. Mr. Miles, I'm going to hear from you, sir. Let's start with the car.
Okay, I did not key her car.
Fine, let's talk about what you did to her car.
Okay, I did take it to the car wash.
When you were drunk?
No, I wasn't drunk.
What'd you take it to the car wash for, sir?
Because she wanted it to be washed.
Yeah.
So I had it washed for her, brought it back, left it at her house. I took off, went back home. She calls me up about 3 or 4 days later and says that she was out driving and the sunroof come off and that I broke the sunroof. I can't prove that I did or I didn't. I took responsibility. I took it down to the Porsche dealer. I paid $800 to have it fixed, and that was the end of the car situation. I would never touch that car because of that.
What about the medical test?
I did agree to have an AIDS test.
Stop playing with your papers. I can't hear him.
And when it finally came to an end, yes, it was a very bad situation. So yeah, she sent a bill. I have one bill here for $558, and then now she's saying it's $800 and something. No, it was not. I agreed. I paid $200 at the clinic when we went there for the test. Yes, I did agree for that. I did pay that, and that was that.
Would you ask him if this is his signature, please?
No, it is not. Or wait, yes, it is.
Ah. Would you read what that says?
It says, I, Carrie Stephen Miles, will pay Corinne $350 on Friday 18th and $25 and take you to the doctor on Tuesday the 22nd.
So did you give her $350?
Yes, I did.
Show me.
I don't have a receipt for it, Your Honor.
Well, show me a check.
I don't have a check for it.
So? Is this the note that he signed for you?
Yes, Your Honor. There's also another one stating that he would pay for all of the car and all of the lab.
Well, I don't have a note for that.
Is that okay that I reach in here now that he's not?
Now
taking?
you
Okay,
can do that.
thank you very much. Here's this, and here's also, oh, gosh, okay, here also is for the car damages, if she'd like to see that.
Sure, that note.
Could I give you a bailiff this, ma'am?
No. It's your signature, right?
Yes, it is.
Well, would you explain all that to me, sir?
Yes. At that time, when this was all coming to an end, I
Yeah.
did write that.
Why? It says here
Because
that you promised to pay her $430 for the damages to the car, $50 because something that you owed her, for doctor bills for a full exam and lab work done, and will pay $400 and no cents for rent before July 1st, 2001. And then you signed it.
Okay, at that time, I signed it to get her out of my life because of the things she has been caused in my life. She sent flyers all through my work.
Just a minute. There you're coming to
Okay.
your counterclaim, sir. I'm going to get to your
Okay.
counterclaim in a second. You signed these IOUs, right?
Yes.
You stuck with them.
Okay.
You should just show that to me at the beginning. I didn't have to listen to all this nonsense.
Your Honor, this is my car. This is for the car. My estimate is $6,200.
I don't care what the estimate is. $430 is what I have a note for. Period. Period. End of discussion.
But
End of discussion.
This is proof, Your Honor. If you would read this further, because they fixed the car, they sent it back. It was malfunctioning. They did further research on it. They saw that he smashed it, so they had to get a whole new sunroof. And here's all the repeats. It's all in
Listen to
it.
me. Don't care. Don't care. This is what
it's my life and my
this
car.
Then you should have pursued your remedy sooner. This is what you have a note for.
This is why I came to you, because I know you're very fair. And
I
this
am
is why
very fair
would like you
and
to
very
read this.
short-tempered. Now, let's get to your counterclaim. Your counterclaim says that because she was very angry with you, put some flyers up around town that caused you a great deal of stress and discomfort.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have one of those flyers?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it. Listen, there's not quiet.
And I also have a witness that was present at my work when they were put all through my work at a bar that I was at.
Just a second. Now, this is a very, very nasty flyer. Did you do this flyer?
No, I did not, Your Honor.
Well, it is certainly nasty.
I bet he did it himself.
What?
He probably did it for himself.
Why would you say that? Have you seen them?
I don't know. Because he's already told me that I did this and that, and I haven't.
Listen to me. I'm asking you a question. Did you or did you not?
No, I
put
did
up
not.
a flyer of him?
No, I did not.
Okay. You have a witness that you say saw her put this flyer around?
No, that's seen the flyers at my work.
I didn't see her.
Didn't see her, no. It was done early morning when we were all inside working.
What proof do you have, sir, that she did it?
I have a letter that matches her handwriting there, and I also have, I know where that picture came from that she cut out and put on those. That picture was taken when we were out to dinner one night at a photo booth right by the restaurant we went to. And then she pasted my face onto those.
Where did this note come from?
She sent it to my house.
On the back of the bill from the doctor.
Right, 'cause that's a note she sent to my house. And I also have a letter from my work stating that the flyers were put up all around my work.
Just a minute. You put these up.
No, I did not, ma'am.
You sure you did?
No, I did not.
I think you did.
I know that I didn't.
I think you did.
Your Honor, I also have a letter from my work stating that they were posted all throughout my job.
Let me see it. No, I think you did.
Could I look at could I look at what I supposedly did, Your Honor, please?
Sure can.
That is absolutely not my writing. That is absolutely not my writing.
Well, what about
Without
the
benefit of a doubt.
Just a second. What about the letter? Is that your writing?
Oh, the letter is most definitely my
It's the
writing.
same writing.
This is, no, it is not.
Can I please have that back?
That is not, and I did not do that. The police called me up, and I was at home sleeping. I got a phone call from the Garden Grove Police Department in the morning, woke me up.
Okay.
I did not do that, and that is a lie, and I am not a liar.
Whether you did it or whether you caused it to be done, madam, I believe it is my responsibility to weigh by a preponderance of the evidence whether I believe that he has sustained his burden on his counterclaim. I believe that he has.
That is not my writing, and if you want to see me, that is not my writing.
Your Honor.
Go ahead.
I also have a witness. He's a fellow co-worker that was a witness that I had dropped my keys into the ocean. She had a set of my keys and would not give them back until I gave her money. That's one of the reasons I signed that thing. She still wouldn't give me back my keys.
I don't care why you signed it. You signed it.
You're correct.
Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
You signed it. Now, what were the ramifications of having these things posted around your job?
A lot of humor and a lot of humiliation.
Yeah, I think
so. They were around my work. They were at the local bar that I go to, and they were around my neighborhood. I work with 650 people, and probably half of them are women. So yes, it was
not nice. Absolutely not nice.
They had to pull people out of doing their job to go pick up these flyers all over the parking lot. Yeah, I almost lost my job. They were wondering what was going to happen next. They called me up to the front office, wondering should they get a security guard?
Listen.
What's up next?
Okay. You were in a relationship with this lady. It's clear to me you didn't do the right thing.
For 3 months, yes, I was.
You were in a relationship and didn't do the right thing.
Right.
Right?
Correct.
So there are certain things that could happen to you as a result of that. Right? You made her really, really mad. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Really angry. As a result of that being really angry, she retaliated and did this. She's going to pay for that because as far as I'm concerned, I would have awarded her almost $1,800 on her claim. She's going to get nothing on her claim. She's going to get nothing on her claim. Because if the situation were reversed and you put these signs up around about her, and just because you're a guy and she's the gal doesn't mean that it's any less obnoxious, any less defamatory, any less vulgar. Yes, you did. Judgment on the counterclaim in the amount of $2,500.
Please check the numbers. These are my handwriting in figures. Look at how different they are. Look at that is my letter, but the poster's not. These are my figures. There is a phone number on there. Do they match my writing of the totals here? So, ma'am, please look at this because this is wrong.
Sure.
And
I will.
swear to
Listen.
God,
my mind is open.
I did not do that. I would not do that.
My mind is open.
No, I have children and grandchildren, Your Honor, and I would not put that up. No way. No way. There's children that would have seen that. That is not right, and I swear to God I did not do that. I swear to God I did not do that. They're not even close. I know that's not my writing.
All right. You have opportunity and inclination. You also have a picture of him. You also had a motive to do it because you were really, really angry.
It's not my writing, and that is my writing. That picture, I don't even know. I didn't even really look at the picture. I was looking at the handwriting.
Take a look at the picture.
And I don't even have a picture of him because he took them all and ripped them all up. He is the one that had the picture. And if I wouldn't know better, he took the thing because that is not my writing. I mean, I wish you would call somebody in here to see the signatures because the numbers, I swear, if you look at mine on where it says grand total, do you see the numbers? They're not even close to that.
I see the grand total.
It's not the same, and it's not fair because I didn't do that.
Listen to me. You may not be satisfied. I'm satisfied.
Well, can't you see for your own eyes that it doesn't match? They don't match. It's not my writing.
Your problem is...
It's not my writing.
Madam, I'm telling you, I believe that you were so angry for a very good reason that you put up these flyers, and whether you wrote it or whether you had a friend write it or somebody else wrote it, this is what you did. And I'm looking, I'm reading. Do you want me to read what you wrote on this?
To say that I did
Do you want me to read what you wrote on this?
That's scandalous. I think he had those made just to do what he's doing right now. That's what I believe.
Don't make this uglier than you.
But I didn't do it. I
Live with you.
do it.
No, this is what you wrote.
Oh, I wrote that, Your Honor.
Oh, yeah, well, that's what I'm reading, madam.
Upset? Are you out of your mind? Yes, I'm upset. But I would never go to the fire department. I never did that. I swear to God.
I believe you did.
No,
and I'm not going to read this because this is too sick.
Because that's just right up
his alley. You have my
alley.
verdict. Do you understand what the verdict is?
Yes.
Good. Judgment on the counterclaim in the amount of $2,500. Plaintiff gets absolutely nothing. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. Case number 118.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Mason Wilson versus Wilson. Step forward, please.
Thomas Mason and his fiancée, Joanne Wilson, are suing Joanne's son, 21-year-old fast food worker Jesse Wilson. Joanne says during an argument, Jesse assaulted her.
You're Mrs. Wilson.
Yes.
Is that right? And this is your boyfriend. His name is Mason?
Yes, that's correct.
And this is your son?
Yes.
And it is your claim that your son assaulted you, which resulted in your hospitalization. You want him to pay for any unreimbursed medical costs that you had, as well as for something for pain and suffering. I don't know what Mr. Mason is doing here unless he paid some of the bills. Did you, sir?
I paid them, Your Honor, yes.
You paid them, that's why you're here. Your son says that he didn't assault you, that you fell over a table because you were drunk. Is that right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When did this incident occur?
January 15th. Yeah.
Where?
In my house.
Who was at home?
I was at home. He was there. In fact, he was leaving that day.
Who was he?
My son. And
leaving permanently?
Yeah.
Why?
He was moving out.
Why?
Well, he thought $25 a week was too much. He said he should pay nothing to live with me.
How old is he?
He's 21.
Go ahead. So what happened?
So we got into argument that night. And
what did you get into an argument about?
Miscellaneous things. And I quite don't remember. I remember falling, and I remember him picking me up, and he was saying sorry to me. He said, Ma, I'm sorry. And he put me on the couch. After that, I don't remember nothing. Except when going to the hospital, they had to put a thing around my neck. They had me in a board, and then they had to rush me from that hospital to another hospital.
The only thing you remember is him picking you up, saying?
I remember him saying, Ma, I'm sorry. He picked me up and put me on the couch. And then I woke up later on, and my boyfriend came later that day, that night, and He made me go to the hospital. I wasn't going to the hospital. I was dizzy and everything, but I told him I would be fine. And he told me, no, I think you better go to the hospital. Something don't look right.
Had you been drinking?
Yeah, I had been drinking.
How much?
I had maybe a half a pint that night.
Half a pint of what?
Rum.
What time did you start drinking?
It was about 6 o'clock that night.
Do you drink every night?
No.
How often do you drink?
I drink on a weekend, occasionally on weekends.
You have a drinking problem?
No.
You have anything to drink today?
No.
All right, Mr. Wilson. Your mother says that you said sorry. You want to tell me what happened?
I had came home from work at the time of the day of my birthday, and
This was your birthday?
yes, my birthday. I had came home, right, and she was drunk because I smelled it on her breath. Me and her got into an argument over how stuff was going in the house. I told her I have no, like me. Sometimes I might leave something around the house, something like a cup or a plate or something. I understand. Sometimes I do intend to forget stuff, but I always do what I have to do in the house, you know. And when she kicked me out, I was getting all my belongings, and she had grabbed me.
Where did she grab you?
She grabbed me in my left arm, and when I told her, "Can you get off me?" she did not want to let go. And when I took my arm like that to get her off me, she had fell back and lost her balance.
You didn't hit her, did you?
No, I would never assault my mother.
You never put your hands on her?
No.
Well, she doesn't remember what happened. All she remembers is falling and you saying you're sorry. So what are we doing here? Mr. Mason, what are we doing here, sir?
Well, Your Honor, this has been going on for quite a while. It isn't just the first time. He broke a window once before in the house because he got mad.
But
I have bills here, and I have the original letter that I wrote to him, gave him plenty of time. All I was looking for was my original amount of money that I put out.
For what?
For the expenses of what it costs to take her to the hospital.
Just a minute. There's no proof he assaulted her, sir.
Well, I had asked her what happened when I came home. She called up this friend of mine. I was at his house, and I came home. She had told me what happened, that Jesse had pushed her, and I said, you best you go to the hospital to get checked out. We went to one hospital, and they needed better equipment. They had to transfer her to another hospital, and they weren't sure if she would be paralyzed from the neck down or not. And like I said, it's not a question of just now. It's been a question of a problem when the $25 a week that he's paying rent. Are we going to get television, the telephone, the whole thing over here for $25 a week? And then he wanted to live for nothing.
How long have the two of you been living together?
Over 2.5 years.
And whose house is it?
It's her apartment.
It's her apartment?
Yeah.
And he's not
So
on the lease.
just a second. So you're living in her apartment?
Half and half, Your Honor. I have my own apartment right around the corner.
What do you mean half and half?
I stay sometimes, a lot of times. I stay on the average 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks at a time.
Listen to me. It's none of your business.
Okay?
This is between Miss Wilson and her son. Has nothing to do with you. Nothing. As far as I'm concerned, Miss Wilson shouldn't be here with her son today. She had a little too much to drink, and if she got into even a shoving match with her son and she fell, that's unfortunate. Probably was tipsy to begin with and fell. She shouldn't be fighting with her son. She shouldn't be fighting with her son on his birthday. And you shouldn't pour salt in the wound because you're not family. You don't precipitate coming to court when you're not even related. Precipitate a mother for bringing a lawsuit against a child. That doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't let anybody pressure you into bringing a lawsuit against your son, which you probably wouldn't have done on your own.
No, but I think he deserves it, especially when he busted my window. I wasn't even supposed to let him live with me. Housing don't want him there because he got kicked out of his sister's house because of the same problem.
Miss Wilson, let me tell you something. I'm not giving him any stars for good behavior.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how long you've been drinking, but I would guess, based upon my experience in the courts, that you've been drinking a long time. Long time.
Okay.
That's not the way to bring up a child. So if you have a child that is troubled at age 20, you look to yourself and say, what did I do as a mother? Was I drinking most of the time? Was I doing the right thing most of the time? And if you were not, you don't precipitate a lawsuit because you set Zero example for him. Just want you to think about that. Your lawsuit's dismissed.
On the calendar.
For the amount of $5,000 as requested. That's all.
This is case number 56 on the calendar in the matter of Ellison versus West. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Miss Ellison, you and Miss West were friends.
Yes.
Your complaint states that you had an argument over something.
The children.
And subsequently, you were receiving some harassing calls. You decided that you needed some protection, so you got a dog.
Yes.
It is your claim that the defendant, in retaliation for something, enticed the dog onto her property and subsequently adopted the dog. You want the dog returned to you?
Correct.
Or its value?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you lived in the same neighborhood?
About 1.5 years, 2 years.
Is that how you know her, from the neighborhood?
Yes.
When did you get the dog?
The 15th of March.
Where did you get the dog?
I used to be a dog groomer by trade, and one of my former customers asked me to take her because her daughter had very severe allergies. I had to get rid of the animals, unfortunately.
What kind of dog is it?
She's a Dalmatian Black Lab mix.
She's a mutt?
Yes.
So you took the dog?
Yes.
Didn't pay for the dog, but you
No,
took
ma'am.
the dog. Where did you put the dog when you brought the dog home?
We tied the dog outside in the front because we were having a lot of harassment problems.
Is it a fenced yard?
Not in the front, no.
What was she tied with?
She was tied with a brand new chain and collar and that we bought her before we bought.
Did the dog have a license on the collar?
No.
So that there was no identifying mark on the collar?
No.
What time did you come home from picking up the dog?
About 5:30, 6 o'clock.
And what time did you find the dog missing?
I didn't put her out until about 9:30.
At 9:30 you found the dog missing?
Yes.
What did you do?
First, we went out searching for her all over the neighborhood. And my husband said, she's probably down at Cindy's. At first, I didn't think Cindy would, go that low, but she did. And we made signs, and we put the signs out early the next morning. My husband...
Where did you put out the signs?
On the telephone poles, one being right beside her home, and another one down the street, and all up and down Galbraith Road, which is the off street from where we go to.
Okay.
I called the SPCA, who had told me that the dog wasn't there yet. I have a lost dog report where I filed the lost dog report that morning.
See it, please.
I also got a copy of the sheltered animal report. When I went to go to the SPCA on the first day, the very next morning at 10 o'clock, the animal was not there yet. It wasn't until 1:35 until the animal was picked up by Cindy. She called the SPCA.
Sure, we'll get to her in a second. Okay, now how did you find out the dog was with Miss West?
My daughter went to a local pharmacy around the corner from where we live, which views the backyard of Mrs. West's home. She came in crying, saying that Lacey was in Cindy's backyard. So we went back in the back alley.
When was this? How many days
that
later?
was a week. It was on the 28th.
Okay.
I said, okay, let's go make sure, Ripley. I said, because, we want to make sure before we call the police.
Okay, so the answer is, was your dog, and did you call the police?
Yes, ma'am, we did.
Called the police? You went to her home with the police?
Yes, ma'am, we did.
And she showed the police the adoption papers because she had since adopted this dog?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. West, when did you find this dog?
On the evening of the 15th, it had to be about 11:30 at night. It was running freely through the neighborhood. I have a videotape where this dog ran, in an hour and 15 minutes, it ran 17 times through my yard.
Why would you videotape this dog?
I have a security camera on my house because this woman continually harasses me.
Is it on all the time?
Yes.
Go ahead.
And I called the SPCA. It was running out in the street, back and forth in the yard. And I opened the door and I said, "Hey, puppy," and the dog walked right in my house. Then, I believe it was Monday, I had called to see if the owner had claimed the dog, and they said that no one had called for the dog, and I went down to see her. Owner has 5 days to claim. I waited 6, and then I went with my son and adopted the dog.
Did you see any signs that Miss Ellison put up in your neighborhood?
No, that's a complete lie.
You didn't see? No,
No.
I don't know whether it's a complete
Well,
lie or
I didn't
not.
see any.
The answer is you did not see
No,
any
I didn't see
signs.
any.
Okay. Now let's get to your counterclaim for a minute.
Okay.
Your counterclaim is that the plaintiff vindictively called protective services, uncross your arms, called protective services and said things about you with regard to your children, causing your children to be removed from your custody for over 3 weeks.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I'd like you to tell me about that because that's your counterclaim.
Yes. In the period when we were friends, there were several times that she stipulated to me that no matter what happened, not to call 241 Kids because she runs a very filthy household. And so we had agreed to that. If we hadn't, I'd have called Children's Services before she did. But I give my word,
I don't want to
stick
hear
it.
you. Go ahead.
On March 1st, Children's Services knocked on my door claiming that they had got a report for a filthy house. Supposedly there was garbage in my house up to here, that I beat my kids, that I didn't feed my kids, and several other allegations.
Okay.
And my children were removed from me until there was a parental screening done.
Just a second. That's not what Protective Services does. They don't come in, remove children for 3 weeks while they do an investigation. When they receive a report, they come in and they say, can we come into your house? And they come in and they make certain observations. So if they came into your house, they must have found your house filthy.
No.
Did they speak to your children?
Yes.
And it was at that time that they removed the children?
My children weren't actually...
Answer. Was it at that time that they removed the children?
They were placed under a safety agreement.
Okay. So they allowed the children to remain in your home under an agreement with you. Is that right?
No.
With whom?
My children were not allowed to be left alone with me whatsoever. I either had to have someone stay with me or they had to go to my mother's.
Okay. So they were allowed to stay with you if there was someone else in the house. And that was after they spoke to the children?
It was...
After they spoke to the children?
No.
Wrong.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Elizabeth Ellison says neighbor Cynthia West stole her dog in retaliation for calling child services. Cynthia is countersuing for defamation of character.
When was the agreement entered into that you would not be left unsupervised with your children?
On March 1st.
So this is before the dog disappeared? Was there an investigation?
Was there an investigation?
That's my question.
Yes, I have an open case.
So your case was not marked unfounded. It is still an open case.
I can explain to you why.
Just answer my question.
Okay, yes.
The case was not marked unfounded, which means that there was no merit to the claims. It was an open case, which means it's still outstanding and subject to investigation.
It'll be closed the end of this month.
Who knows?
I do.
Do you have any reports from social services?
That's confidential information. It would have to be subpoenaed.
So that you don't have them?
Exactly.
Do you have any initial reports that were furnished from social services?
Those are not public information.
Okay. Is this the first time that social services has visited your home?
Oh, yes.
The first time?
First. Very first.
Why would you and the defendant talk about not calling social services? I mean, I've had lots of friends in my life. One of the things that we certainly never talked about was never calling social services about how we are as parents. We talked about a lot of other things. We complained about our husbands, the local market, but we never had a discussion about social services. Why would you have an agreement with her not to call social services, Miss West?
That was a stipulation that she set down, not I.
No, it was a stipulation you sat down by
Now I'll
being
get
a
you just a
drug
second.
head.
Miss Ellison, you interrupted again, but I'm going to come
I'm
back to you
sorry.
for a second. I'm not going to ask you whether or not you placed this call.
It's an anonymous hotline.
It was because it's an anonymous hotline, so I'm not going to ask you whether you did or not. But it is your belief that because she thought that you placed this call, she retaliated by taking the dog.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I have proof she took the dog.
Let me see.
This is a Coleraine Township Police Department police report. If you would read it, you would see at the bottom, it states that she admitted taking my dog.
Let me see.
And she also knew it was my dog. She told him when she got there. When he got
Don't
there.
tell me what she told him. I'm looking at her.
Sure you don't have a copy of that?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm going to give both of you 1, 2, 3, then you're out of here. Do you understand?
Yes.
Did social services come to visit your house?
Yes, ma'am. I have a copy of my...
Can I see it, please?
Human resource.
Because I see that after she believed you
You
called
can
on
also...
her.
Yes, she did.
She
called
called on
on
you.
me.
All right.
May I comment?
Sure.
I did not make that call. I'm not the only person that knows she runs a filthy house.
Okay. All I can tell you is she has this document here, which you clearly do not have, which indicates that her case was immediately closed.
They made a surprise visit, just like her. Sorry.
I like to conduct a very orderly place. Clean, neat, and orderly.
Go ahead.
You don't have this, that your case was closed, is that right?
No, because my case is still ongoing. Would you like for me to answer that why? You had asked me that before.
Sure.
The reason my case is ongoing, part of the social interaction with her and I, we'd smoked marijuana together. I was a recreational user. She
That's
gets
a
high
lie,
all
Judge.
day,
I don't want to
every day.
hear.
That's what...
Shh, shh. Listen to me. Case closed. Case still open. That's the objective fact.
Because I admitted to my recreational use is the only reason I have an open case.
Because they caught you at the door, you and that Nicole, your
listen.
witness, smoking a joint.
Listen to me.
And you know what
Don't-
happens in my house, huh?
What? You don't understand? You're going to both be out of here. Well, Miss West, police officer attributes the following to you. She stated that Miss Ellison had her kids taken away, but all she did was take away her dog, Miss Ellison's dog. So she, quote, went pretty light on her. That's what you told the police.
Can I respond?
Yeah, the police don't lie.
Well, no, I'm not going to lie.
Shh. You don't get it. Yes, I'm waiting for you to respond.
Okay. This was after she had come to my backyard and was cussing and hollering that I had her dog. That was the first point at which I was aware that this dog had previously belonged to her. And I did tell them that, but like I said, it was after that she had pointed out to me, you have my dog, and a few other explicit words mixed in there. But she had pointed that out to me. So at that point, I did know that it was her dog. But that was the first time that I had knowledge of that.
Who knows? Okay.
Nobody tapes the dog in a video yard.
Listen to me. Listen to me. I want you to be quiet.
Okay, you're right. I'm sorry.
I have several things to consider. Right now, the dog has been with you for quite some time. Dog is integrated into your household?
Yes.
And you, I assume, take good care of this dog?
Yes.
Good.
No.
I don't want to hear from you yet. I'm primarily concerned about the dog, the children involved. Right now, she is the legal owner of that dog, and your lawsuit wants either the return of the dog or the value thereof, which you place at $500. Quiet. That's what your lawsuit says.
The lawsuit is for, the $500 is for harassment. We would like to have the dog back. That's all we've ever wanted.
What I'm telling you is she is now the legal owner of this dog, and I have to make a judgment as to how I'm going to resolve your lawsuit. I believe that there is a substantial possibility that Miss West did, in fact, come to your property, unchain the dog, and take the dog. That is a possibility. It is also a possibility that the dog got free.
I agree.
And was, in fact, roaming around. What she did was she did not secrete the dog. She brought the dog to the ASPCA immediately. You had an obligation to be vigilant and you could go to the ASPCA every day to see if the dog was there. The dog, I'm
called
speaking.
every day.
I don't care, call. I'm speaking. You had an opportunity to go to the ASPCA every day for day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look for your dog. You did not do that. So put your hand down. So since the dog has been in her custody, you had an opportunity to go and pick up your dog. You did not do that. She did not hide the dog. And there is, again, that possibility that your dog did, in fact, get out. Just get out. She probably knew it was your dog. Not sure. But I don't indulge myself in potentials or possibilities. I'm speaking. So I am awarding you $500. Even though you did not pay for this dog, I believe that Miss West knew or should have known that this was your dog and that there was a bit of retaliation in her keeping the dog and not calling you and letting you know
Yes, ma'am.
that she had found the dog. and that there was something sneaky about the way she went about going there and legally adopting the dog. But she has legally adopted the dog. The dog is hers. It has been with her and her family for a long time. Okay. Now, Ms. West, I'm going to get to your counterclaim, which I am dismissing. What state do you live in?
Ohio.
The state of Ohio does not remove children from their home without cause for 3 weeks without taking a parent to court. Period. End of discussion. No state does that. The state may say, I'm going to give you a warning, clean up your house, but if the state of Ohio is still part of this union, there are certain due process rights that you have. And if your children were removed from your home, as you state in your claim, as a result of what is an anonymous call, and it may well have been Miss Ellison who called, may well have been, but it doesn't make any difference. She did not remove the children from your home. The state removed the children from your home, which means that they found some cause to remove the children from your home. Since you do not have the paperwork to show me what the cause was, I have to assume.
I do have. I do have.
Well, you do have now. Swell.
I do have the paper for the safety agreement. I do not have the letter that she has. I left that at home.
I don't want to hear the letter for the safety agreement. I want a report from the state indicating why they removed the children from your home.
This is what this is.
Well, I'll take a look at it. That doesn't look like... I don't want to hear from you. You're finished.
Okay, no problem.
Well, they clearly found you using drugs.
I admitted to it. They asked
Whether
me the
you
question.
admitted to it or they found it. One of the stipulations was adults will refrain from all illegal drug use in the home. Who else lives in the home other than you and your 2 children?
My husband. Nicole's staying with us right now.
Excuse me?
Nicole Lake, this lady right here. Her mother left and went to Florida, so she's staying with me.
She was the one
so
they
she's
found
gonna stay.
doing drugs.
Shh. Don't want to hear you. What are you showing me? I read this already.
In the highlight, it shows that Miss Ellison admitted to being the one who called 241.
What difference does it make? The police had cause. The police had cause to remove your children. They either saw or you admitted to using drug use. And listen to me, Miss West, I'm not stupid. If the authorities came to your home and found nothing untoward in your home, found you perfectly straight,
they did.
Making matzo ball soup in your kitchen, right? And you just volunteered to them that you used drugs, volunteered to them, you must think that I was born 2 days ago. That's not what happens. They had evidence. They either found you in a condition of being under the influence, they smelled something in your home, they found something in your home, something happened, and then you admitted that you used drugs. But a normal person doesn't invite authorities into their home and say to them, let me tell you everything. Sometimes my house isn't neat, and sometimes my kids' clothes aren't clean, but the worst thing that I do is use drugs. We understand each other. Your counterclaim's dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $500. That's...
Yeah, this is case number 184 on the calendar in the matter of Roy versus Zamias. You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ladies, have seats, please.
Miss Roy, according to your complaint, you rented a room in defendant's home.
Yes.
When did you rent the room?
From January until May.
And what was your monthly rent?
$500.
According to your complaint, there came a time sometime in, was it May that you had an argument?
Early June.
So you stayed there till June?
Yeah, well, yeah, I was to
You stayed there till June?
Mm-hmm.
You had an argument over Tupperware.
Yes.
As a result of that argument, you say you were assaulted, given an eviction notice, forced to move. You want the defendant to pay you for the assault, pro rata for the rent, because you had already paid June's rent, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Your moving expenses, told you wanted to pay $1,543. So let's take it from. When in June did you have this argument?
June 6th.
Tell me about the argument.
Well, the morning of June 6th, I woke up, and I had been looking for my Tupperware throughout that week. And
what Tupperware?
This Tupperware right here.
Those 2 pieces?
Yes. So throughout the week and in the morning before work and everything, that's when I had time to ask her. So on June 6th, I knocked on her door, and she said, come on in. And I said, hey, Nicole, have you seen my Tupperware? And she said, no, and went on into, Karina, I need to stop condensing your food down into smaller containers in the refrigerator. And this was the 3rd time that I had asked her for my Tupperware, and she was changing the subject when 2 other times I wasn't getting direct answers, and where she was directing me, they weren't there. Like the first time I asked her,
I'm not interested.
Okay.
Just get to the
So
point.
I said, look, if I don't get my Tupperware back, I'll just take it off my rent. And she said, well, don't you dare. And she threw her blankets off her, which every morning.
Just a second. Are you telling me you went into her bedroom
Yes.
to ask? Let me finish my question. You went into her bedroom to ask for those 2 pieces of Tupperware?
Yes, for the
And
third-
she was in bed?
Yes.
Go ahead. So she threw her blankets off.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
But, you know, every other morning.
Just answer the question. Tell me, she threw her blankets off and said what?
Don't you dare, you know, and she threw her blankets off and she ran to the door and slammed it open. She said, I ate it! And she stormed into the kitchen. And I followed her. And she opened her Tupperware cupboard and forced all of her Tupperware on me like that.
Let me explain something to you. Don't get dramatic with me. Okay, go ahead. So she...
And threw all of her Tupperware on me.
She didn't throw all of her Tupperware on
Yes,
you.
she did. Yes,
How did she
did.
Miss Roy, you're standing there, so what you're telling me, she took out each piece of Tupperware from the cupboard and threw it at you?
No, she has a Tupperware cupboard, and she put her arm on one end of that Tupperware cupboard, and with all of her force, threw it on me, and I was standing behind her, and it landed on me.
Is that the assault you're talking about?
No, and there was one
No,
other.
no. Is that the assault that you're talking about?
That's one of them, yes.
And when was the other one?
Then she kept standing there and screaming, you know, how dare you, and don't you dare, don't you even dare, Karina, shame on you, shame on you.
Listen to me.
Like this.
I hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, this is what she was yelling at me.
Go ahead.
And I said, you know, Nicole, you said you were going to take care of my Tupperware, and and on Sunday your maid came, and I haven't seen him since. And she said, there's your answer, Karina. Look in that cupboard there. Look in that one. And I go over there, and I open it up, and it's kind of on the ground, so I kneel down, and there's my Tupperware, and I grab it. And when I'm down, she's leaning her whole body into me, pointing her finger in my face. How dare you? Don't you even dare. Shame on you. That's it. I want you out of here. And she hit my head with her finger. She had all of her weight on me.
Next. So what happened next?
So then I got up, and I'm just like backing away. I'm like backing away. I'm walking out of the kitchen, you know, and she threw her hand up. Damn you, how can you do this? And that's it, Karina, I want you out of here in 30 days. And I'm standing there, and we're standing in front of Anna now, okay? And I said, good. And Anna stood up and said, hey, and looking directly at me, and said, hey, the babies, as she's looking at me. And I had not said anything through this whole entire time.
What did she say?
The babies. The babies.
Hey! Quiet. What happened next?
Well,
you went to work.
As Anna was
You
saying,
went to work?
Yeah, I went to work.
And what happened when you came home from work?
There was a letter in my room.
And what did the letter say?
It said, because of your histrionics and verbal assault this morning, Anna and I agreed that for the sake of the daycare children, you are to leave the premises as soon as possible. I am hereby giving you a 14-day notice.
Okay. You don't deny writing that note? No. No, good. Okay. Where did you come to a 14-day notice?
In my contract, Your Honor, I have it's a month-to-month lease.
Yes, so there's usually a 30-day notice.
Right. And because of the daycare, should there be any behavioral or safety issue, I exercise the right to use the 14-day. And also the tenant.
Is there a notice in your agreement giving you the right for a 14-day notice?
Yes.
Let me see it.
Yes, it's right here. And,
can I see it, please?
Yes.
Good.
There's also a 48-hour, but that's for something more serious like underage drinking.
Let me just see.
In my home.
Okay. With at least 14 days' notice given and acknowledged in writing by both parties. Okay, so you gave her a 14-day notice.
My assistant and I decided. Okay.
So that's on the 6th?
Mm-hmm.
When did you move out?
Moved out on the 9th.
30 days hath September, April, June, and November. So what we're talking about is 21 days. Is that right?
No, so I had paid June's rent on May 21st to stay till June 21st.
Oh, okay. So that means that you're only entitled to 12 days.
Yes.
You have a problem with giving her her prorated rent?
I do, Your Honor, because I gave her the 14-day notice.
She moved out before.
And she had announced to me that she would be moving out the following Saturday, which was in a couple of days. And my exact words were, Karina, you're free to move whenever you want, but the room is yours until the 21st.
That's just because you say so.
And
listen to me. Just because you say so doesn't mean that that's so. You gave her a 14-day notice.
Right.
Because you say there was some egregious reason why you gave her short notice. If
Yeah.
she decides not to stay there until that time, that's her prerogative. You have to give her prorated rent back.
But, Your Honor, the problem is, although she physically moved out, her property was still in the room.
All of her?
Absolutely. No, not all of her property.
What?
The day after she moved, she said she
What
needed
was in-
to bring her answer machine in because her phone...
What was in her
Well,
room?
there was a lamp, a pole lamp, and then her ashtray, and she said Saturday night when she moved out, I'm really tired, my ashtray is in there, I didn't even wash it, I'll get back to it later. And I did not even go into the room to clean or anything. When I did go after the 20th, when she got her security deposit back, then I went in there, and these two items were in the closet still.
Is that the other
And
items?
the lamp that she had said when she was moving, she said, you can either give this away or throw it away.
Then you should have done that.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Karina Roy says former landlord Nicole Zimius assaulted her with Tupperware.
Okay. What items do you think suggest that she still occupied the room? The teddy bear and the cup?
Well,
listen to me. Speak.
The lamp.
The lamp she told you to get rid of.
The ashtray, and these two things. With the kind of ups and downs that we've had in her stay, I was not about to even go into the room, and I didn't.
That's fine. That's your prerogative. You did, you didn't. I don't care whether you did or whether you didn't. Clearly, you gave her a notice because you didn't want her around. You felt as if you wanted to give her 2 weeks to get out. That's fine. I find that she elected to move out before. I believe she's entitled to do that. She doesn't want to be there if you don't want her there. She moved out. She gets her portion of the rent back that she paid, because I don't consider that, a cup and her teddy bear, leaving property in the house so that you couldn't rent the room again if you wanted to. All right. Now next, you want her to pay your moving expenses. Is that right?
Yes.
Wrong. So we've just dealt with that. You don't get your moving expenses. Now, damages due to the assault. I'm prepared to hear you if you want to tell me what your damages were as a result of the assault.
Because of this, I mean, the way I physically felt, okay, was just like somebody just ripped my, I mean, I just felt hollow in here. I mean, I did not feel stable at all. My driving
You're not
has
stable. Anybody that walks into a bedroom, somebody sleeping in their bed, to ask for 2 pieces of Tupperware and start an argument with them while they're in bed over 2 pieces of Tupperware isn't too stable.
Okay.
To start with.
Well, because
$500 divided by 30 equals $16.66. Clear that?
Yeah, just multiply.
What?
Just multiply.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Wait a second. I'm learning how to use this machine.
Okay, I'm trying to tell you.
Just a minute. Times 12 equals $199.92. That you are entitled to. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $199.